Good afternoon, good morning, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. Here we are again. Let's do this. You might have noticed there was no thumbnail with, hey, here's today's show. I got something picked out, and then Photoshop just wouldn't run. Restart the computer, still no Photoshop. We'll deal with that later. But let's go on over to. Actually, these aren't our first stories. These are, like I said, the distractions that happen when I open the browser. And there might be some nugget of truth to them, but let's take a look. Let's go to presentation view. Here we are. Let me also check the audio, make sure it's running. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this first one is from Seeking Alpha, and then the next one is from Fox. It's the same story. Uh, People have got their knickers in a twist about Tesla pivots to pricier Cybertrucks and halts orders for cheapest version, as well as Tesla halts orders for $61,000 Cybertruck. Cheapest version is now $100,000. So this is the easiest thing in the world to fact check. Oh, it's getting hot in here. Let me check the make sure the air doesn't need a kick. We'll see. It thinks it's cooling, but we'll see. I did just turn on all these lights, but this fan has been on for a minute, so it should have already been dealing with stuff. So let's go over to Tesla.com/Cybertruck. Let's give it a good old order now. Yeah. Okay, so it's not at all what they were talking about. It's the Foundation series. We've got a pair of tweets and articles about this coming up. You can order the Foundation series now without a reservation, and because of that, there is no base model available on the Foundation series. You've got the 9999 dual motor all-wheel drive, and you've got the 119. No, so you've got 100,000 and 120,000 for the Cyber Beast, basically, and you just don't have to be in line to do it anymore. So and then you do your range extender too for another 16 grand. But that's not a rounding. That's 16 even. 500 due today. I don't like this also says included. It tells me they're going to charge for it. Doesn't mean that they will charge for it, but it means they at some point could charge for it because they're saying included. The outlets will probably be there regardless, but whether you can use them. Anyway, so yeah, as I figured when I saw the headlines, it was a bunch of much ado about nothing. So Seeking Alpha, depending on which writer we're talking about, could be a short, could be somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, or it could be good. Let's wait in these comments and see if anybody corrects this. Okay, so nothing. And let's see if they say no, they don't. I think it's just about the headlines, really. Let's get the clicks. Here it says the Foundation Limited Series. So they knew. So Fox, they knew what they were doing, and like I said, depending on who the author was over at Seeking Alpha, they knew what they were doing probably too, or they were just dumb. I must have selected Beast on there because I see the light bar. Yep, front view of Cyber Beast Edition. It says if I hover the mouse. They did finish the new light bar. I don't know if I mentioned that. All right, let's go on to what we actually have for today. Right place. Yep. All right. Tesla confirmed supercharger at 300 plus kilowatts in speed trials in California. So our friend Raphael was supercharging, and he messaged our friend Kyle that his Cybertruck was charging faster than it looked like it should have. And I don't know if we covered this or if this was the Tesla Live show. But anyway, Wes, I don't know if we did or not. But Wes Morel confirmed that the V3 pluses, which would be a version 4 dispenser on a version 3 cabinet, not all of them, but a selection of them, are running at the full, or not the full, but at more amps than previously. They're still running at 400 volts, so the Cybertruck's still running in split pack mode. But running at 300 kilowatts versus 250 will get you a faster charge, even though it's still going to do the curve and the ramp down. Let's see. What's up, Timothy? Good to see you. Let's also check and make sure multi-stream is working. I mean, I know it's working, but see if anything came in on multi-stream chat. All right, so that's basically all I wanted to say about that. Is that Cybertruck can charge faster now at the V3 Plus stations. They don't look like this. They they look like V4 stations, but if you see the equipment, you'll see that they're still V3. All right, so let's go on to this one. Cheers. And close these. It's not like I'm short on memory or anything. I'll have to figure out why the Photoshop's not launching after this. All right, so Mercedes has been approved for level 4 autonomous driving tests in Beijing. And I'm assuming this is going to be the same thing as the ones in Europe and Japan and here. Let's see. So if you ever see a Mercedes with these turquoise lights, that means that the autonomous features are enabled. But in the States, that's only for trial in, I believe, Arizona, maybe Nevada. But it's only one state actually that they turned it on for. And since Arizona, Nevada, and California are the ones that allow the autonomous testing, it's going to be one of them. But it's not California. I know that. Let's see. Approval allows Benz to test its level 4 self-driving technology, which enables vehicles to handle most driving tasks independently without human intervention. These tests will cover various complex driving maneuvers, including parking, U-turns, navigating roundabouts, traveling through toll booths. Okay, so this is not the same system they've been running elsewhere. This is their version of FSD. That's exciting. Because previously it was just this response to slower traffic, blah blah blah. Not the change in lanes part either. Just literally following them in traffic. China's also probably got it pretty well mapped. Let's see if they say it's only for select roads. Advanced sensor technology, system redundancy. It's noteworthy because it's the first time a foreign car manufacturer has been granted permission for L4 testing since Beijing. In Beijing, since the city updated its regulations to support the development of autonomous driving technology. Prior to this, only domestic companies like Baidu, Honky, WeRide, uh, we know WeRide, have been given the green light. And I don't see some of the companies we expect to see on there, unless they're in partnership with these folks. That's interesting. All right, so they got level 3 approval in Beijing in December. Interesting, they approval for L3 in California, Nevada. I could have sworn they were advertising L4 and the thing would just handle traffic jams. Unless that was L3 and I mushed them together in my brain. Tesla's still in the process of obtaining its FSD license in China. they should probably be able to get it pretty easy now that there's a format. This one I wasn't going to cover, but Neuralink has successfully implanted a brain chip in the second patient. The changes here were they did some of the stuff that the Neuralink and Elon crew told us about on their webcast. They uh, kind of shaped the skull a little bit so that the implant would sit flush on the skull, and then they made some changes to not have as much swelling of the brain, and they inserted the threads a little bit deeper. We'll see how the patient recovers, and then hopefully they introduce themselves to the world and can tell us their experience. But that isn't what we were about here today. We've got enough stuff to go through without me going off topic. Unless you guys want me to go off topic, then you pick the topic and we'll go. Uh, all right, so Wake the Neighbors Loud is almost here. Going electric isn't cheap, but will the Mopar faithful show up for a 15 grand price increase? Yeah, it's not a bad looking car. All right, so here we go. Let's go into Inside EVs. Oh, we got the right server today, or they fixed it. I'm gonna go with got the right server today because last night on another article I still got the bad certificate issue. All right, so the Dodge Charger Daytona EV, isn't there more to this stupid name? It was like 15 words long last time I said the whole thing. It ain't cheap, updated. Oh, so that means since I put it in here, because there's no updated in my title. Don't Dodge, V8, blah, blah, blah. A newly reported price leak over at Mopar Insiders, originally sourced from YouTube's Butter to Insider, claims that the new Charger Daytona EV models could, isn't it? There's just so much to that name. Not just that. Anyway, 15K more than the outgoing V8 models. And they're still going to make a gas model, but it's coming later. The official pricing hasn't been announced yet, but the reported leak claims that the launch edition of the Daytona RT configuration could start at 68,570. Meanwhile, upgrading to the Daytona Scat Pack could set you back 82,170. And as a long-time Tesla buyer, those numbers don't really seem all that scary. I mean, they're more than you'd want to spend for this, but I mean, look at the Model S Plaid. Look at it's not in the same realm as the Plaid. Look at the Mercedes. Look at all the other large sedan SUVs or EVs. And it's not what it's not what they promised, but it's not unexpected for a launch edition. In fact, if you look at the fact that we've got our money doesn't go as far as it used to, then you had a baser Model S for like 75 in the early days, and you could definitely get it up over 100 easily. But this is this should be cheaper than the original baser Model S's, just based on that. All right, so what is the update? So tax credit. I'm going to do Control F, Command F, I guess, on update. Not updated. Reach out for Dodge and we'll update if we hear back. Update. The official pricing has been released and those details are below. Dodge has just confirmed. Oh, there we go. There's 75. I was just talking about it. 75,185, and the Scat Pack with the standard comes with the standard track package, so it's an option with options. It includes Brembo fixed piston brakes, adaptive dampers, upgraded seats, and option packages include the 4995 Plus group and a sun and sound package for $24.95. The Charger Daytona RT will come standard with the Direct Connection Stage 1 upgrade package. And this puts out 496 horsepower. Ooh. and 404 foot-pounds of pounds-feet of torque. Um, I was watching a video where an older guy was trying to figure out when we switch from feet-pounds and pounds-feet, and then it made me think back to that. The Scat Pack. The Scat Pack will get you a Stage 2 package with 670 horsepower, 627 uh, pounds-feet of torque. So that is better. There may be a cheaper version without the direct connection Stage 1 upgrade package offered later on. Both trims will still qualify for the $7,500 tax credit when released. How so? It seems unlikely that the credit will be available if the vehicle is purchased. Oh, okay, I see. Because it's leased. There's no way that you can get a sedan at that price range and have it qualify because it's priced too high. If it had been an SUV, then it's like, yeah, they're there. All right, so what is the Model S going for these days? And were there any comments on this thing? Stellantis already has more EVs in their lineup than most manufacturers. To claim they spent all this money developing EVs in order to not sell it as some anti-EV protest is not job-level conspiracy lunacy. These people say this about legacy automakers producing EVs. Okay, so anyway, let's go over to Tesla.com/. I really think it probably competes more with the Model 3, but at that price, we need to compare it against the Model S of today. Yeah, let's do the order now. All right, that's after savings. I don't want that savings garbage. All right, so it's right in line with the Model S, 74,990, and this base Model S will get you more car than what they have. Except you won't get the Wake the Neighbors Loud package or any of this other stuff that was in the Dodge. I mean, it's great to have more options. It's great to have more options. All right, but the Tesla doesn't really give out torque or horsepower. It's there, but they don't really sell on it. Except the Plaid, they do. Let's. How do I get back out of this? There we go. Let's see if they. Um, let's just go to order now. We know it's 1020 for the Plaid. All right, turn off the savings again. That's annoying. It used to be that they would just kind of leave it off. All right, so let's go to cash, close, and then go to the Plaid. So 89,990. So a little bit more, but for a lot more. I mean, you get a lot more for a little bit more. All right, so let's go on back to what we were talking about. Supercharge it again. Elon's talking about investments. No. How did Elon get into this? Why is his name on that? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So Inside EVs says that's on top of a $1 billion investment earlier this year. It should help with the EV startup get the Gravity SUV off the ground. So what's happening here is Inside EVs wrote themselves an article about how Lucid has received another $1.5 billion from Saudi Arabia. They say it's to launch the Gravity, but it's also probably because the Saudis don't want this thing to go under, and it wasn't doing well after the last financial reporting. So give them a little cash injection, make it good. Get Gravity off the ground. I see what you did there. Yes, you're right, and I didn't catch it before that. Get the Gravity off the ground. Sorry, they are going bankrupt. All it would take is 10 million investment in NET to take down an entire EV market. Ask me how and why, I dare you. I mean, I guess Probably should have done one on the gravity itself. I don't know what happened to that article. Consider buying Lucid. Cool. All right, so this error is getting worse. So let me turn it off and then back on again. Yeah, it's up 2 degrees. I don't want to buy the new one. I want the current one to turn off. Mode. Off. Mode. Back to what you were doing. All right, so after the delay, it should kick in. That happens when we lose power. It doesn't come back if it was on when we lost power. Uh, the fan and the thermostat keep running because they're on the battery, and then the compressor just never comes back. So that could have happened. I was asleep. Um, I clicked on the pictures. Those are not the pictures. There we go. All right, so there's the air and the gravity. It still does look nice inside. They're gonna have to do something to get the profitability going. You can't be losing thousands of dollars per, or multiple thousands of dollars per car and stay in business. Mm-mm-mm. I was hoping that would lead us to the announcement of the gravity itself. I think we discovered not discovered, but just covered the photos where they showed it coming off the end of the line or whatever. I wish the Saudis bought Fisker and turned the company around and start making cars again. I wish they invested 1/10 of this most recent round in the funding of Aptera. That would be kind of cool, actually. Saudis bought Lucid for its engineering and manufacturing expertise. Oh, that's true, because remember, they used to do Formula E. Fisker did none of that. Fisker outsourced its engineering and manufacturing to Magna. So, yeah, exactly. So there's no there other than the design and the IP, but not IP in the sense of like here's some engines and stuff. It's like, hey, here's a design. Yeah, by 2026. Huh? Oh, you're just talking? She stalled. Like, I didn't think you listened. All right, so let's go on. That was all we had to say about Lucid. All right, so the air is back on again. Let's see if it actually gets cooler in here. Feels better. So a while ago, we told you about this lying article about how 51% of Tesla owners are going to trade in for gas cars, and 31% of EV owners are going to go back to gas. And we discussed that was just really bad, really bad. Like lies and statistics bad. But here we get some more realistic numbers from over at Inside EVs. 51% would be a very bad figure, but even 13% is nothing to celebrate. It shows that many didn't buy Tesla because it's an EV. The question now, though, is that 13 actually going back to gas, or are they just dropping Tesla for something else? Ford is working on a new low-cost EV platform that can take on Tesla in China. That looks kind of cool. A Mach-E, I guess that'd be a Mach-E Bronco or a Mach-E Amino. I guess it'd be more of a Bronco than because it's a Ford. All right, let's go. Let's go to Inside EVs and see what they're talking about. Yeah, this happened again recently. They put a bunch of Teslas on the back of a Tesla and drove it around for photos. Yes. Dad? Dad? Done what? You're done?
Done cooking. Done cooking.
Done cooking? I'm not cooking.
Done what? Done what? Done what?
Worm.
Done what?
A worm. Oh, mommy's warming up your food? Yes, I heard it beep. It's ready. It's in the kitchen.
Well,
Okay. Mommy's out there. What is she warming up for you? Yeah, what's she warming for you? Oh, you're warming. What? I don't see your toy food. What are you warming there? Oh, you're warming the same as mommy. Okay. All right, let's look at the details on how they got 13% down from 31%. That would have been funny if it was a case of just dyslexia and it was always 13%, like without the um what do you call it? The funny math. All right, so here we go. Uh, yeah, I see Patrick George already explained the recent story. Anyone who knows Tesla knows why that data can't fully capture Tesla owner behavior, as that they don't have dealerships. It's part of it. All right, so okay, so they went through and showed us what they did. A new video from our friends at EV Buyer's Guide expands on our intuition, showing that the sales data from the S&P Global that captures a wider selection of the market. It used new vehicle registration data along with data about when a car is no longer registered to an address. I messed that one up, moved the car all around. Giving it a picture of the market that includes Tesla shoppers who buy another Tesla, those who have their cars totaled and get something else without trading in, and those who sell or buy their next vehicle privately. In short, it's the full picture, and it's a lot rosier for EV fans. So, as I said back then, the methodology was probably all jacked up, and it was. It was pretty pictures of the Model 3 Highland. First thing sticks out is how much Edmunds missed, not just including Tesla's store data. Hmm? A marker cap?
yeah.
Purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, purple. That's Daddy's. Oh, that's Daddy's giving me. She's not supposed to have permanent markers. She's supposed to have kids' markers. You're cooking the marker. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Anyway, so permanent marker back in hand. Just 13% of wait. Not including Tesla store data. 70% of Tesla owners simply get another Tesla. Sounds right. An incredible loyalty figure. Another 10% buy other EVs. Also sounds right. Rivian won 9.8% of the conquest sales from Tesla. That's making sense. Uh, if you really like the car, but you didn't buy Tesla for reasons of the CEO or the service, why not go to the next closest thing? And the Rivians are ideology. They perform similarly. They do what you expect, and they treat you right. So just 13% of those buyers traded their Teslas in for gas cars. I'm wondering if those were leases or you're done cooking. You cooked me a fish. You cooked me a fish. Here you go. Yeah. Um, mommy fish and baby fish. All right. So
Mommy.
I'm wondering if those were leases or if they were people who probably shouldn't have bought an EV in the first place. Not saying that you can't make sacrifices and own an EV, but if you can't charge at work and you can't charge at home, or you get a vehicle with too short of a range for what you need. So say you are a supercommuter and you have a 250-mile commute and you buy a 200-mile EV, those are not wise choices. But they'll work, but you're gonna spend a lot of time just waiting around at chargers and a lot of money waiting around at chargers, depending on where in the world you are, um, with the electricity prices and the markups for the region. Done what, baby? You're done cooking? Okay.
Done.
You cooked me a plastic bag.
Ach.
Okay. Thank you. So that's what I'm getting at there. So the ones these 4% they got hybrids, and the 2% they got plug-in hybrids. So these 6% of people tell me that they did buy it for fuel savings and the partial electric operation, but perhaps they didn't have the charging situation set up correctly. The 1% that get diesel also tell me they were probably trying to save money in some fashion, and that they're probably also European, just because we don't have that many diesel sedans or crossover SUVs over here, and that's what we sell here: mid-sized crossovers and sedans that would run diesel that are coming from electric. I guess that could also cover people who go from a Rivian to an F-350, but I just don't see it being recorded that way. And so, why 30% going back to gas? So it does indicate a non-negligible issue affecting EV adoption to me. And my suggestion is probably that it's the folks who uh, didn't get an appropriate EV for their use case. All right, next we've got yeah, and that's why I think that Rivian had so many conquest sales. The Elon badge. Um, he's a complex individual, and his public persona certainly has changed. Let's see. Or friends who ridicule their purchases, no matter if it were the better choice for them personally, a peer pressure thing. I'm sure there's some of that, but I don't, I don't know that if you'd overcome that peer pressure to get an EV, that you'd go, or especially a Tesla, that you'd go back to gas just because they peer pressured you again. I think it's when's the last time you bought a car for how far it went on a tank of gas? I hear people bragging about it all the time, and there was the first Camry hybrid was sold with its 620-mile range. But why do I remember that? Sold Toyotas for a while. Uh, hmm? Anyway, no matter what anyone wants to be true, the reality is that BEV is the better choice for all important metrics at all price points, and the chasm between the two will only get wider as the technology matures. Absolutely. However, as I said, certain people, there isn't yet an EV that fits them because of their home situation and the fact that their job doesn't offer driving either. If you're driving a small car like the Model 3 is not a small car, it's mid-sized, or it's not compact, at least. And you get married and have children, you're going to want to have more CUV format. Until recently, this meant Model Y or gas. Frankly, many ISVs in this format are more compelling, and this is changing. Yeah, you've got Model Y. That's about it for now, in that style and price range. There's the Blazer, there's the Bolt, EUV. Whenever that comes back, there's the Mustang Mach-E, but most of those are kind of like on the smaller side than Model Y, at least the way it feels to me. Huh? Oh, you're washing dishes? Okay. You wash dishes very loud? Uh-huh. Also, the top two models people were trading in at dealerships from Teslas have been the Ford F-150 Lightning from Teslas. Okay, so they're getting trucks. They're getting the F-150 Lightning and the Cadillac Lyric. Curious why you would trade in a Tesla for a Lyric. So even with 13% that trade-ins that Edmunds is looking at, a significant number are going to be EVs, as we all suspected. All right. Another article about the Dodge pricing. We'll skip it. Oh, you know what it is? It was when the official pricing for the Dodge came out. That's what that was. All right. So friends over at Giga Berlin are now riding on an electric train instead of a diesel train. It says a battery electric train rather than a diesel electric train. Finally came in, and I believe it was used. So that's probably what they're waiting for, was one to become available. Today, the battery electric shuttle train has started. It's free for all passengers, and it connects to the station Erkner. I probably butchered that pronunciation. With the station Tesla Sud. And there it is. Great choice for going a battery electric train. Really, Tesla's just making Germany cool again. That's awesome. Electrify all the things. Hey, you deserve a heart for that, because that's what I say. Electrify all the things. All right. Trains are electric steam trains. Mostly. I think you can find a few straight diesel trains way back in the day. Like maybe two. Huh? Oh, hot dogs. Oh. Where's my fan? I have a little handheld fan that you can use. And it normally stays in this room. And it walked out yesterday. So I think she knows what I'm talking about. She ran out to go get it. In that direction, anyway. Continuing on. Those are real hot dogs, not the veggie ones. Smell. Neo. And the battery swaps. And yeah, that fan. You gonna blow the hot dogs with it? You didn't even turn it on. Here, let me see. Oh, it is on. Blow your hot dogs with it. What? It's not a hairbrush. It's not a blow dryer either. It's a fan. Anyway, so my note on this next one was, I don't know that you can draw that conclusion, but you can say it was popular. And you'll see what I'm talking about right now. So Neo eclipses 50 million battery swaps, providing evidence that drivers prefer the charge method, or prefer to swap instead of plug in and charge. And like I said, I don't know that you can say that, because my whole argument for the battery swaps has always been, at least especially with Neo, those same people that we were talking about who can't charge an EV at home because they live in multifamily dwellings. They don't have street, or they park off on street, and there's no connection there. There's no charging at work. Those folks, especially when you get to these larger cities like in Asia, in the dense cities, it's going to be easier to sell this battery swap model and turn a profit on it. And so them getting to 50 million swaps doesn't necessarily mean it's more popular than charging. It just means that they place these boxes to swap your batteries out adequately. So let's see. Yesterday evening they hit. Yesterday evening from the 6th. Don't put your finger in the fan.
Huh?
Yeah, it'll wet you. They hit their 50 million swap and provides evidence that the charging method is viable. And I cannot. You're jumping to conclusions. The data doesn't say that. Neo continues to, and I do own like 2 shares of Neo. It might be too short. It was $5 when I bought it, so it was nothing. Neo continues to show the world. Show the world. What an awkward sentence. Continues to show the world EV why it is one of the leading EV brands in China. I see. Like you were editing the sentence and then got distracted. Um, One of the leading EV brands in China, in addition to delivering a lineup of some of the most impressive electric vehicles on the planet, the company has developed and launched multiple adjacent technologies in the market, including mobile phones and battery swaps. Yeah, let me see that fan. I'll blow it for you. I'm talking. I can't sit here and blow on it for you. There you go.
Yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy.
Okay, don't drop that on me.
Yummy, yummy. Careful. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
So, since EVs became prominent, they have embrace battery swaps. Okay, so Neo is saying this, and he's. You're welcome, baby. And he is parroting them. You dropped your dog. You got it. She blocked herself with her little kitchen. She moved it so it's blocking the way, and then she couldn't get past while holding her bowl. Okay. Why does Neo say this? Other than they have an incentive to say this. Per a recent Weibo post, Neo achieved its latest tally of battery swaps at 11:33 p.m. on August 5th, and the automaker shared that battery swap system now has delivered its EV drivers with a cumulative total of 2.262 billion kilowatt hours of electricity. So 26 megawatt hours? No. Gigawatt hours? Yes. That is enough electricity to provide more than 1.31 million homes for an entire year. Additionally, NEO shared that the battery swaps have saved drivers over 2.85 billion minutes compared to sitting and waiting at public chargers, which remains the industry's preferred method to this point. Let's see if anybody tackles this the same way as I did. There are a few reasons why NEO battery swaps work in China. First, they're free for most NEO owners. Oh, well, shoot. If I could get in and out in 10 minutes full free, I would do it. NEO cars are premium priced. Second, many NEO owners lease their batteries instead of owning it. Yep, you're not trying to keep it safe. Third, it provides options to use different size batteries when necessary. Really, I didn't realize they actually offered that option. You can get a bigger one for a month when you are doing a long trip in the summer. And that's something that swapping allows, but I didn't know that NEO implemented it. That's kind of cool. It's a good technology, but NEO needs to standardize it for it to work with other brands to scale it to more cars. Otherwise, it's money losing. I don't know that you're going to see interoperability for these on the car size. We see them with Gogoro and the Japanese copy, but those are scooters, and they kind of have to be manhandleable, man portable. So it's a lot easier to come up with something that works for that than it is with a whole car. Charging doesn't seem to be a preferred method for most NEO drivers in China. Again, in China, in the high density areas, people with money, and if you're swapping them for free, yeah, I'll swap for free. NEO says that close to 60% of the energy sent to NEO branded vehicles is coming from the swaps. Okay, so I can see why you might come to the preferred conclusion, but it still doesn't actually translate. As of mid-July, NEO had 50 battery swapping stations in operation throughout Europe, including Norway and Germany. And if you prefer charging plugs, the Chinese maker still sells EVs with that as an option. But battery swaps appear to be. I thought they all had charging plugs. I know that even the Project Better Place had plugs, but you were not supposed to use them. Let's get to the comments because that's. I took issue with the conclusion from the tweet. All right, so that was the one we read already. We'll give Michael a vote for that. Despite most battery swaps being free, only 54% of Neo owners prefer swapping. Yeah, that's pretty low. This is a horrible metric because, just as you stated, most swaps are free. Unfortunately for Neo, half of their owners prefer charging, probably at home or at work. Uh, what will happen with this metric once they start charging for the true cost of their swap stations? Ooh, good question. Because they cannot lose money on them forever unless the government of China plows money into them. But industry consolidation needs to happen, and Neo's financials are terrible. They only generated 1.37 billion in Q1, yet their cash on hand dropped by 1.8 billion, and battery swaps was a mistake, and they need to cut their losses and focus on fast charging. He's got a picture here. Battery swapping is crucial for Neo, offering quick refueling, avoiding battery degradation. Because you can charge it slowly. But they don't charge it slowly either because you need real estate to be able to keep enough batteries on hand to charge them slowly. What's up, Lee? Happy Sunday. Good to see you. Let's see. Neo needs 60 swaps daily to break even. And despite this, 54.14% of drivers prefer only 54.1% prefer swapping. Neo's new Firefly brand targets Europe, raising concerns about cost and complexity. Oh, so this if you see Firefly, it's Neo. Battery swap is like a shiny new toy that's fun to play with, but not a long-term solution. Hey, there's a reason it keeps failing. Charging technology is advancing rapidly. Soon we'll be able to juice up our EV in minutes, making battery swaps obsolete. It's mostly a gamble for Neo. And yeah, we've seen Cattle and other Chinese firms demonstrate with production grade cells that you can do hyper fast charging, and that is going to be the preferred method for these types of situations for people who can't charge at home and for people in the middle of road trips. And right now we've got super fast charging, but we're talking. What did we talk about a couple weeks ago? It was 10 minutes to 80%. 10 minutes to swap the battery, and then just let another couple of years go by on that same technology, and you're looking at probably 6 to 7 minutes in the near term, 4 to 5 minutes in the far term. This swapping is a gamble for a company. The issue with charging in minutes is not a car side issue; it's a charging station issue, and that can be solved with batteries. Put a battery in the station, and you're fine. To deliver that kind of charge, you need high performance systems that can take kilowatts of energy in a very short space of time, and the infrastructure to deliver that kind of power to a site is costly. That puts a huge strain on the grid. Yeah, if you power it straight from the grid. Hopefully somebody corrects this. Most likely they use something that a few cattle tenor packs as mediation. Yep. So same as like the power packs. The big packs will trickle charge, and then they'll deliver to the vehicles at whatever the combined power is for all of those packs. The tenor holds 6.25 megawatt hours. Okay, so now it's a mega pack. So 4 of them would be 25 megawatt hours, which is enough to fully refill 250 Tesla Model S's or over 300 Model 3s. They could fully recharge in 24 hours at a rate of 1 megawatt plus a bit. They like the Tesla Megapack, they can output a rate of 1.5 megawatts each. For safety, maybe they do 1/10 of that and can offer 600 kilowatt charging all day for almost 2 days. All right, save me from having to type any of that. It's true that upgrading the grid for rapid charge is a complex undertaking. However, the environmental impact and managing countless spare batteries for swap stations is equally concerning. Yes, we're talking about massive amounts of, I don't know if it's going to be all that rare earth materials. Depends on what your battery's made of. And being Chinese, they can easily get themselves some LFPs. Perhaps a combination of improved battery technology, grid infrastructure, and large-scale storage solutions to provide power boosts when needed. Yeah, all that. But also, if you just improve the fuel economy and you can charge faster, you can use smaller batteries, which gives you better fuel economy, which means you can use smaller batteries. It's a cycle. Just like with the rocket equation, you add more fuel, you can go further, go harder, but now you gotta have more fuel to carry the new fuel, and so on and so forth. So it's the exact opposite direction. Biggest problem I see presenting swapping becoming pervasive is that there's no common Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Like they're saying, get some kind of standard. That's not going to happen. Everybody's cars shaped differently, and everybody has different power requirements, and everybody treats their batteries differently. Um, and as the other said, with faster charging on the horizon, is there any incentive for working with your competitor on battery technology that it's good for them, but might not be good for you? I mean, it'll be okay for you, but will it be what you want to do what you need? Can you imagine Lucid and Tesla using the same exact batteries? This isn't NASCAR. Contrast that with what electric scooter yeah, that's what I'm talking about. GoGo is different because you still have to be able to pick them up, and so there it does make sense to share technology. If you don't have to redesign the battery again, and people are riding on them exposed, there's only so much performance you can put into a scooter legally in most places around the world. So they're not really in the same boat as the auto and truck manufacturers because light truck manufacturers because they've got different incentives and different needs for their batteries. Now with the large trucks and the boats and probably even the airplanes, you could probably use a standardized situation like in Europe right now, or Australia, sorry. They've got a manufacturer we've talked about a couple times that they can forklift swap your truck's batteries while you're at the depot, changing out your load. All right. Battery swap, multiple scooters. I wonder if the Gogoro is compatible with the Japanese one, and if they exist in the same place. I never did look. It's factually incorrect. Multiple major Chinese manufacturers, Geely, GAC, FAW, Changgang, have already signed up to use NEO swapping standards. Okay, so there's that, but it does limit what you can do, but at the same time, competition is a little different in China. Not to mention leading energy companies such as Sinopec, CNOC, and CSPG have joined as partners to expand the swapping network. It's in the wall garden anymore, kiddo. Still, my argument of Tesla and Lucid sharing comes up. I can see Tesla and Rivian sharing. They're a little closer, but I don't see that either. From multiple Chinese companies are all the same anyhow. I was thinking it when he said it. Neo's trying to standardize it. They are. All right, so let's get off of battery swaps now and go on to some sad news. SunPower has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and they gone. They filed for Chapter 11 and selling parts of the business to complete Solaria for $45 million in cash. In the bankruptcy filing with Delaware Court late Monday, SunPower reported its assets and liabilities to be between $1 billion and $10 billion. You might have rosy memories of SunPower, or you might have been essentially scammed by them. They were falling behind in installations and deliveries, and so if you were new to them, you probably have a bad taste in your mouth. And if you have an older relationship with them, you might remember them kind of fondly because they did have a good reputation back in the day. Last company restructured rather than liquidate. SunPower decided to liquidate. In July, the company paused several key operations, including new product shipments, leasing, and purchasing agreements, and the pause signaled growing difficulties within the company. They plan to sell their remaining assets and has entered into stalking horse agreement with Complete Solaria. That involves selling the Blue Raven solar and new homes businesses, along with its non-installing dealer network. Stalking horse refers to an initial bid on bankrupt company's assets, setting a minimum price that other bidders have to exceed. In light of recent challenges, the proposed transaction will offer significant opportunity for key parts of our business to continue our legacy under new ownership. We're looking to secure long-term solutions for the remaining areas of our business while maintaining our focus on supporting our valued employees, customers, dealers, builders, and partners. Top comment is, man, I feel like I dodged a bullet. I almost went with SunPower for my installation last year because they had good panels for a decent price. But I went with a local installer instead. Ever since then, it's been nothing but bad news for SunPower. Sad for the employees, as they seemed like a decent company. And the U.S. awards $2.2 billion to expand and strengthen the grid. Oh, but the grid can't handle what we need it to do, blah, blah, blah. Money will be put towards 8 projects across 18 states to help protect the grid against extreme weather events, lower costs for communities, and create additional capacity to meet load growth, which the DOE cites. So now I'm curious, does that exclude Texas? They aren't part of the national grid. Let's see. Bipartisan infrastructure laws, grid resilience innovation partnerships. Okay, so this is part of the same system that we already had in place. So you got the charging stations on the road, of which there aren't many yet, and Florida decided that they would post DeSantis propaganda instead of giving the businesses the money. Then we have the tax credits for and the instant tax credits for the new and used vehicles. Then we've got manufacturer incentives. Yeah, so also fix up the grid. Why not? The selections are made through GRIP grants. One of 3 GRIP funding mechanisms to seek to deploy projects that can use the innovative approaches to transmission, storage, and distribution to enhance grid resilience and reliability. Represents federal government's single largest investment into critical grid infrastructure. White House National Climate Advisor Ali Zaidi says the investments we're making today will enhance the strength and resilience of our grid, especially in the face of more climate-fueled extreme weather events like wildfires, flooding, and extreme heat. Hey, look at that. We had 2 of those this week. Over on the southeast, we had dozens of inches of rain with this latest tropical storm. And, well, it was actually a hurricane when it hit Florida, but it was a tropical storm for most of its existence. And we've got fires out west and in the Midwest, and extreme heat over the whole continent. New projects will help DOE drive 10 billion into, or nearly 10 billion into total public and private investment, which will add nearly 13 gigawatts of grid capacity, the equivalent of 6.5 Hoover dams, including 4,800 megawatts of offshore wind. Not bad. These projects will create 5,000 jobs and upgrade more than 1,000 miles of transmission. Yeah, Debbie in the Park Fire. That's like a band name. Debbie in the Park. Or Debbie in the Park? All right. Exactly. And what are we looking at here? Let me copy this over. No, I don't want to look it up. Just copy it over. We got another one coming too. It's at 80% chance of cyclone formation within the next 48 hours. Sitting right there. Yes, and yes, this page does live on my home screen from June to November easily. A little bit before June actually, because lately there's been stuff happening. That's over at hurricanes.gov if you'd like a copy of that map. It updates a couple times a day, but the actual meteorologist reports whenever there's an active event. I think it's like 8 p.m., 2 p.m. I'm not quite sure. There's an 8 and there's a 2 and there's an 11. I don't think they update it 6 times a day. Let's see. Debbie in the Park Fire 5. Playing Ben Fold 5 covers with Climate Centric's lyrics. Oh, that'd be fun. I think Ben would get behind that. That'd be fun. So we'll upgrade more than 1,000 miles of transmission lines. That's important because, as you see in California and Texas, the utilities, since they are no longer fully regulated, they cheap. And you've got lines that were installed when my grandfather was a child that are still up without any maintenance. Not good. Like they the maximum for some of these would have been 50 years before maintenance events, and so we're now well over that. That was the case actually that started some of the fires out in California. That's why they got slapped with so many fees and fines. But they're able to just pass it on to their customers and raise the prices. So just like we were talking the other week about companies that were cheating on various things, if they could just pass it on to the customer, they'll just write it off as the cost of doing business, and then your prices will go up. What we need is a way to leverage those fines, but also make sure they can't pass them on to customers to make it really hurt. Then they become less competitive, and they'll know not to do this mess again. Baby shopping. I see you've got baby doll. Your bear's with you in the chair. You got a backpack. You got some wipes. Oh,
I did it.
you got a manual for a 360 camera. Okay. Do you want a bear? Do you want a white bear or a yellow bear? Yeah, it's a teddy bear. But which bear vitamin do you want? Do you want vitamin yellow bear or vitamin white bear? Yellow vitamin. And no, your bear doesn't get one. Just you. She held up the teddy bear like you can have one too. Come on. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. Two projects: Clean Path New York of the New York Power Authority and North Plains Connector of the Montana Department of Commerce will deploy large transmission lines. The two lines, totaling about 625 miles each, or total, sorry, 625 miles, will increase grid capacity by 4,300 megawatts by deploying high voltage DC technology. We were talking about that a couple months ago, but we were really focused on the West Coast. So this is really cool. It's going inland now, and let's see. I'll keep an eye out for it. And everybody gets a teddy bear. That's right. The tropical weather outlook comes out 2 a.m., 8 p.m., 2 p.m., 8 p.m. There we go. I don't know what the 11 is. The 11 just when the screen refreshes. I've seen some 11s on the map. But yeah, so the written, here's what to worry about. Here's the warnings. Here's the alerts. 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. So, or sorry, 2 and 8. Then the correct part of the clock. I have a GitHub pipeline to post it on Blue Sky Storm Center that I think is offset at 11 and 5. Ah, that's pretty cool. Huh? Your cart is stuck. Because you moved this kitchen all the way over there. Uh-oh, I broke your sink. There you go. All right, another project, the Tribal Energy Resilience and the Sovereignty, Tribal Energy Resilience and Sovereignty, the Terrace Project, will empower 4 Northern California tribes in the Hoopa Valley, Yurok, Karok, and Blue Lake. I'm sorry for messing up all you guys' names. And the Rancheria tribes to develop tribe-owned and operated nested microgrids, bringing reliable and resilient power to an outage-prone area. I think that microgrids are probably going to be in our future. Um, Either say you've got a development of everybody's got solar on the roof, network those together, or if you've got some community solar, and then every few microgrids you have a mega pack or something like that. I think that's probably going to be our future if we don't get like micro nuclear going on or something. It just makes sense. Not necessarily cost effectively, but just for the distribution and everything like that. Maybe there'd be like a backbone running through so you can shuffle the power where it needs to go. That is cool. That's cool. And like I said, I didn't think I'd see any Texas on there. Let me open up the comments and then do a Command F for Texas. Ah, thanks, Biden. Glad to see Texas not on this list as they only care about themselves. Not what I was thinking, but yeah, there was Texas in there. And then this Texas is, I guess, an article. All right, let's look at a couple of these before we go on. Uh, want safety, security, and energy independence, and strengthen, harden, and expand the electrical grid. The idea that we can drill our way into energy independence, as pushed by American corporations, conservatives, is not possible so long as oil is produced in the U.S. can be shipped to other countries. The U.S. is exporting massive amounts of oil now. Electricity, on the other hand, cannot be exported, and more production leads to lower costs. We saw the island in the UK that is exporting their excess power as hydrogen, and then we also saw other projects where they are um, just doing it directly over cables. Electricity can be exported, but we tend to import more from Canada. I agree that the grid is life, should be improved, but domestic oil and gas production has its place as well. Energy independence does not mean that we don't export oil and natural gas in normal conditions, but allows the U.S. to change the rules if needed to put us first in line for U.S. oil and natural gas. The Russians and Saudis know this, so they won't use it as a weapon, as they expect us. Excuse me, they expect us to retain needed oil and natural gas if needed. Descending into politics. Oh, she just threw all her toys out. I was waiting for her cry. She didn't fall. All right, so we'll skip that thread. A small government spending bill I can get behind. Let's buy a few less F-35s to pay for it. Why not both? There's no more important system to all Americans than power. Yeah, power is water. Power is life. Power is a lot of stuff, especially in this modern era. And in fact, while we say that the vertical farming and the container farming wasn't cost effective in the near past, if we continue with where we're going, it may actually be profitable to do the vertical farming and indoor farming, because the crops just won't survive outside of the artificial environment. Hopefully, we don't get there, but we'll need power for that. We'll need power for everything. High voltage DC. I hope their plans to simply replace old cables using 100-year-old design with new cables with a design that doubles their capacity. You don't need new towers. It's really the best bang for the buck. To put the 2.2 billion in context, according to today's Wall Street Journal, Google paid Apple 20 billion to have Google as the default browser in Safari in 2022. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. So hopefully, this money is being stewarded and used well, and we'll get way more bang for our buck making infrastructure than we will picking a default search engine. With a massive transformer shortage, money is better spent investing in transformer production. What do you mean better? You can do both. The main rate limiting component of grid support, renewable projects, etc. And I don't know if you need transformers for HVDC. Do you? I think you do, but not the same way that we do with AC converters or AC transformers. I know 3 DC fast charger sites near me that have been waiting for a transformer to start utility service for 6 months each now. What question was that? And yes, I like that answer. Okay. Oh, we've reached the end of their comments. I was gonna call it a day. Only 2.2 billion. This is a joke. We spend that much in a month on other places. Can't even make a dimple with that amount. The thing to remember about these two is they don't generally get pallets of cash. We pay U.S. companies to make what they need, ship them what they need, and then that money stays in our economy. Uh, Of course you can. Issues regulating phase in some areas can absolutely make a difference. Or use it to increase transmission, or implement a flow-based model, thus increasing the total available capacity for the rest of the market, or even build a new high voltage AC or high voltage DC line if required, and so on. All right, so let's move on to the next piece of the notes. We've got Don't be stupid. FAFO, FAFO. Um, Tesla burns after driver in Mexico plugs it directly into a power line. No bueno. Uh, this is in Tijuana, and the driver of the car had Californian plates, and they didn't just burn the Tesla; they also burnt down the house uh, next to it as well. Driver in Mexican border city of Tijuana apparently had the bright idea of connecting his Tesla to an illegal electricity hookup connected directly to a power line. There's been later reporting to suggest that possibly the driver didn't know that it was a rogue connection, but eh. Not only did the Tesla eventually burst into flames, the blaze got so hot it set a neighboring house on fire. Uh, Rafael Carrillo, the fire chief, said Tuesday that the electric car fires are a problem for the city's firefighters. He said the partially charred hulk of the Tesla might take a couple days to burn out. Yeah, yeah, and he couldn't be moved until then. They might not have the stuff to move it till then, but go over to Europe and they got you a dunk tank you can use. He said firefighters built dirt berms around the car to keep the area to keep it covered in water. Yeah, the thing with electric car fire, at least the modern ones, keep it cool, and uh, if you keep it cool, then it will not have any thermal runaway fire. But at that point, you can put the rest of the fire out. Firefighter Arturo Sanchez said the firefighters originally received a call Monday about the fire at the house, which was apparently unoccupied. But when they got to the scene in a low-income neighborhood, they found it was hard to douse the flames because what was fueling them was the car's lithium batteries. It was then Sanchez said they realized that this Tesla is connected directly to the power line. No injuries were reported. The car had California plates, and illicit connections are a common problem in Tijuana and other cities in Mexico. Residents get free electricity. Residents steal electricity by hooking a wire directly to overhead power lines or ripping out an electrical meter and splicing the open feeder lines. The voltage and other characteristics of illegal hookups can vary wildly. There was a comment there that I screenshot in case it moved. And it said, kind of hard to blame this on it being an EV. That's not the one I screenshotted. Someone does something incredibly stupid, and this is the result. Naturally, once the lithium ion battery caught fire, there's going to be an issue completely extinguishing it. But under normal use, it should never have caught fire. So, not really an EV issue. This guy says, yes, it is. EVs probably, and yes, they was stupid. As you increase the voltage, you increase the heat. Why else do they not have 4,000 volt chargers? Because it's dangerous. They caught fire because it's a Tesla and he tried to charge it as fast as he would go to the gas. No, you are. No, no wonder it was collapsed already. It's a classic example of how people can't wait and want them to be gas. What? That is so stupid. Anyway, that's why you have high voltage connections to the grid via your level 3 DC fast charger. Is this only an article since it happened to a Tesla? If it were a Lucid or Rivian, they would have run it, but they would have said electric car. They wouldn't have said Tesla. The article should state the obvious that this would have happened to any EV connected this way. It was also note that all EVs with lithium batteries would have burned just as fiercely and as long. Batteries don't care what kind of car they're in. Now I know why the guys who delivered my washer and dryer didn't have a clue about dryer vent hose length and routing the cord away from the hot vent hose. Good thing I can hawk with my hands and my voice can go pretty loud. Oh, that sounds pretty racist. Um, this honestly actually started happening in China when EVs. That was happening in India as well because they already had a lot of illicit connections to the grid. Friend in Mexico sent the link to the story, and the house burned, but the car wasn't plugged in. So it likely got lost in translation, the most American thing to happen to an EV story. So Randy here suggesting that the house caught fire, and then the car caught fire from the house. Firefighter says it was plugged directly into the grid. Only way we would know would be to get the fire inspector's report and translate it and see what happens. think this is the one yep, Julio. Julio is the one that I saved. Let me save everyone's time. Guy does something incredibly dumb and car burns down, as anything else would have, after he plugged into the line he used. But the article is related to Tesla, so let the hate begin. Yes. All right, next article. Like I said, that one was just Papo. It's getting warmer in here. I've only got 2 lights on and a fan, and all this computer. It is 94 degrees outside, though. Normally it keeps up, though. Let me check the 73 in the rest of the house. 79 in here. I'm gonna turn it off and on again. All right, and so after the delay, we'll see what happens. And I'll need to watch the rest of the house instead of just the high temp. Yes. So I told you we'd talk about the light bar. Let's talk about the light bar. Tesla will install your light bar, but won't plug it in. Don't ask the employees to plug it in. That is because it's an aftermarket off-road accessory that the manufacturer isn't supposed to be doing much of anything with, because it's for off-road use only, and they're selling an on-road certified car. They aren't delivering today. They're getting ready to. They're going to retrofit the light bars. They sent owners sent an email notifying them that their trucks were in queue to receive the accessory. Tesla also updated the Cybertruck service manual earlier this year to reflect the installation process for techs performing the retrofit. However, there's an important note regarding what Tesla will and will explicitly not do when installing the light bar. One of those will nots is connecting the light bar accessory, the light bar to the accessory harness that will provide power to it. So they're not going to plug it in, and it's going to have tape over it, like opaque tape. Because in some jurisdictions, you need to have, if you're not off road, you need to have the light bar covered. That's why you see so many like the Kacey lights with the covers on them, and other places. The light bar is designed only for off-road use. Tesla, by law, cannot install the light bar electronics and configure the vehicle for light bar control. Tesla employees are not permitted to connect or assist with the connection of the Cybertruck off-road light bar harness to the roof accessory jumpers harness. You're responsible for using these instructions to complete the light bar harness connection yourself. So I guess this is what they leave in your car or email to you when you finish. Connecting the harness itself seems pretty straightforward. You click. Tesla engineered the truck to quickly add accessories like the light bar to its factory harness. However, gluing it to the roof with urethane seems rather tedious or arduous compared to the customer-facing portion of connecting the harness. 73 and 79, and start it up again. The automaker also requires the tech to install a roll of blackout film on the lens of the light bar. This ensures that the truck cannot light up the road even if the owner accidentally engages the light bar from the touchscreen controls. If not already installed, remove the protective cover from the provided blackout film tape and install the blackout film tape on the light bar. The blackout film tape must be installed on the light bar prior to delivering the vehicle to the customer. Only the customer or third-party entity is permitted to remove the blackout film tape. So there, CYA. So here's a portion of the film tape. What it looks like goes over the light bar. Yeah, I'd probably have them do it because you get a warranty on the install, and then you just click in the power and peel off the tape. And if you're in a jurisdiction that requires that they be blacked out when not in use, hopefully the tape is really reusable, or you can get a nice roll of it, or some enterprising individual will make a sock for it like the other lights. Realistically, this workaround for Tesla is similar to the Cybertruck's removable mirrors. Sure, they're easy to break off, but it's on purpose. Owners are meant to be taking them off as long as they're not driving it on the road like that. Certain regulations in the FMVSS require mounting output and angle to meet specific standards for public road use. Dealerships must sell cars that conform to these standards, or face a recall. And a light bar is not something that Tesla can fix with a software update. Some states also require that off-roading lights or lighting components that do not comply with the FMVSS be covered up when driving on public roads. And there's a link to that law in some state. That said, owners are excited for the truck's new toy. Now let's hope everyone uses them responsibly. If that's the law, that's true across all first-party light bars. What trucks have first-party light bars? Only seems to be a newsworthy problem when the Tesla Cybertruck does it. According to people like you, it's only newsworthy when it was praised for the Cybertruck. Okay, anyway. Continuing on, let's close some of these tabs down before the browser decides to move the bed. All right, so then Tesla finally released another safety report for Q2. This safety report says, let's click into the link that they're linking to. Greater than 1.6 billion cumulative miles have been driven with FSD supervised. How am I not following it? There we go. On vehicle safety below is the latest update for the past quarter we've just published. In Q2, we recorded one crash for every 6.88 million miles driven in which drivers were using the autopilot technology. For drivers who were not using autopilot technology, we recorded one crash for every 1.45 million miles. And by comparison, the most recent data available for NHTSA and FHWA from 2022 shows that that in the U.S. there was an automobile crash approximately every 670,000 miles. So we're getting there. All right, we'll open this up in a new tab. See what the comments say. Yes. 73, 79. One out of 6.88 million and 1.45 million that crashed, were Tesla owners at fault, or is there any type of crash count? That's a good question. Tesla was involved in a crash. Tesla caused a crash. It would be interesting to see both, especially as time goes by and the numbers will get even further apart. Click on the link in the post under the methodology. The data is for all accidents, not just the ones caused by Tesla. So Tesla involved crashes. That was a fair question, and yeah, I don't necessarily blame them for not reading the report. 10.27 times safer than the national average. Pretty good. More important, the 609 estimated crashes prevented. Full self-driving supervised miles, 1 billion. Right? Yeah, no? Yeah. 1,674,232,778 miles traveled for 609 crashes prevented. That's pretty cool. It's been 33 years since the last not drive vehicle. That reduces accidents when removing autopilot from the equation. Why do Tesla cars with human drivers not using any ADAS, i.e. autopilot, crash 2.5 times less than other cars with a human driver driving with no ADAS? Because the safety features are free. They're included. They're always there, except when you're towing. And even then, still got some of them. So that's how. I don't know if anybody answers that. FSD and autopilot are not the same thing. It depends on who you ask. Even inside Tesla. Because of all the safety features built in, like automatic emergency braking, collision avoidance, steering correction, are always enabled when manually driving. Not to mention the early warnings you get that don't come in most cars. So, exactly what I figured the answer would be. There may be many factors contributing to this due to the car brand, like age, wealth, education, and etc., that can reduce collisions. No. I think the Pixel is more accurate. Older drivers may be less likely to buy a Tesla due to the high-tech user interface. I don't know about that either, because remember, Cadillac got their reputation for being old person's car, and they were high-tech. Still kind of are. They may be more likely to have crashes, etc. Because the middle-aged men drive the most. Maybe. All right, so let's go to the report, skim it real quick, and then go on. Pop this in the chat for you guys. Boop. All right, so at Tesla, we believe that technology can help improve safety, and that's why Tesla vehicles are engineered to be the safest cars in the world. We believe the unique combination of passive safety and active safety and automated driver assistance is crucial for keeping not just Tesla drivers and passengers safe, but all drivers on the road. It's this notion that grounds every decision that we make, from the design of our cars to the design of the software we introduce, to the features we offer every Tesla owner. Mostly. Uh, S3, X, and Y achieved among the lowest overall probability of injury of any vehicles tested in the US government's new car assessment program. Much of this has to do with the rigid, fortified structure of the battery pack that is mounted to the car's floor, which provides a vehicle with exceptional strength, large crumple zones, and uniquely low center of gravity. Because of their strength, Tesla's battery packs rarely incur serious damage in crashes, and in the extremely unlikely event that a fire occurs, this state-of-the-art design of our packs ensures that its safety system works as intended and isolates a fire to select areas within the battery while simultaneously venting heat away from the passenger compartment and the vehicle. You swimming? Okay. Don't take that iPad in the pool. Right, so while no car can prevent all crashes, we work every day to make them much less likely to occur. Active safety features come standard on all Teslas made after September of 2014, which is when they started putting in the AP1 hardware. For an added layer of safety beyond the physical structure of the car, because every Tesla is connected, we're able to use the billions of miles of real-world data from our global fleet, of which more than 9 billion have been driven with autopilot engaged, to understand the different ways that crashes can happen. When we develop features that can help Tesla drivers mitigate or avoid crashes through over-the-air software updates, we're able to introduce safety features and enhancements long after the car has been delivered, as well as release updated versions of existing safety features that take into account the most up-to-date real-world data collected by our fleet. In October 2018, we began voluntarily releasing the quarterly safety data to provide critical safety information about our vehicles to the public. And in July of 2019, we began voluntarily releasing annually updated data about vehicle fires as well. Crash rates among all vehicles on the road can vary from quarter to quarter and can be affected by seasonality, like reduced daylight and inclement weather conditions. Yes, that is tiny. Tesla vehicles using autopilot, Tesla vehicles not using autopilot, and United States average, uh, respectively. So the million miles before an accident occurs has been getting better overall for FSD, or not FSD, for autopilot, and not using autopilot as well. It kind of took a dip at first. It's been actually pretty steady, the not using autopilot. The autopilot's gotten mostly better. That is all of them. And then Q2 24. In the second quarter, we recorded one crash every 6.88 million miles driven, in which drivers were using autopilot technology. For drivers who were not using autopilot technology, we recorded one crash every 1.45 million miles. And by comparison, the most recent data available from NHTSA and FHWA from 2022 shows the United States that there was an automobile crash approximately every 670,000 miles. Where's Grandpa? Grandpa's at his house. Yes.
Well,
Oh, you want to call him on your iPad? It's gonna be kind of hard for him to see you on your iPad. You colored on it with sidewalk chalk. I'm glad it has a screen protector on it. take it to mommy to clean it, and then maybe you can call grandpa, okay? Huh?
Jingle bell. Ring, ring. Jingle bell, jingle bell.
You want to say hi? Says hi and claps. Ah. Okay, so that is the vehicle safety report. Let's skim through, see if there's anything else in there. Ah, the fire data. Tesla vehicles and the United States average million miles before a fire event is pushing 140 million miles for 2022 versus 20, almost 20 for the average. Tesla's committed to collecting and analyzing and reporting the most accurate data available regarding vehicle and fire safety. To that end, we're continuously refining our methodology, detection processes, and algorithms for the collection and analysis of fire event reports involving Tesla vehicles. Okay, go, mommy. There you go. Tell mommy you need potty. Go on. You're gonna have an accident. The door's open. I see light. Yeah, the door's open. I think she. I don't know where mom is. Oh, she's crying. She might have had an accident. Hang on. Let me help her out. I'll be right back. And she stopped crying and disappeared. So she's got her mom in the other restroom. So, okay. So where were we? Including fire events where the evidence indicates that the fire did not originate with the vehicle, possibly that Mexican incident. We learn about fire events from a wide variety of internal and external sources, such as available vehicle telemetry, customer service, and media reports. For this reason, we may not be notified of a fire event until months after it has occurred. Therefore, to better reflect what we have learned about fire incidents involving Tesla vehicles, we now collect annual vehicle fire data for a year before publishing it to capture all the known events. I don't, I don't think that does exactly what you're suggesting there, Tesla. What it does do is stop the numbers from changing after you publish them or release or reduce them. Global data indicates that between 2012 and 2022, approximately one Tesla vehicle fire event occurred for every 130 million miles traveled. By comparison, from the NFPA and US DOT indicate that one vehicle fire occurs in the United States for every 18 million miles traveled. Compared with the average vehicle on the road, Tesla vehicles are comparatively less likely to be involved in a fire event than these numbers suggest, because Tesla's data includes fire events that are caused by structure fires, wildfires, arson, and causes unrelated to the vehicle, like another vehicle on fire, where NFPA data excludes any fires where structure is involved. Huh. In addition, because Tesla is committed to reporting the most accurate and comprehensive data possible, we also provide the yearly averages over the past 5 years as illustrated above. These numbers reflect known fire events which occur globally in each calendar year, and they are normalized by vehicle fleet mileage that accrued during the year. All right, so there's all your methodology. They got an update for 23. All right, cool stuff. Moving on. Speaking of vehicle fires, NHTSA is probing the first fatal Cybertruck crash. This happened in Texas, and we don't know who the driver is yet. I don't know why they were unable to obtain the VIN off of any piece of the truck. And the license plate was apparently gone too. NHTSA is currently investigating a fatal crash involving a Tesla Cybertruck in Chambers County, Texas. The crash marks the first reported fatality with the Cybertruck. It occurred on August 5th and in the Baytown area of Chambers. According to the local media reports, the Cybertruck veered off the road for an unknown reason, collided with a concrete culvert, and subsequently caught fire. The sole occupant of the vehicle, the driver, was declared dead at the scene. So then the people who like to speculate on stuff are like, oh, what about the steering? Maybe it was the drive-by-wire, blah, blah, blah. Well, we don't know that the driver wasn't dead before the crash, and then that did it. So let's wait and see what the report comes back to be. Uh, it says authorities have yet to release the identity of the victim. At the time I read the reports, they didn't know who the victim was, and the exact cause of the crash has not yet been determined. So we'll wait on that, and when we know, we will update you. But in response, the NHTSA has announced that. Let me check something real quick. For email. Okay, I did what I thought I did. Good. Back to you guys. Although the agency has not yet opened a formal investigation, it is gathering data to determine whether further action is warranted. That's coming from Reuters, and this includes the cause of the fire after the crash and whether any technical or mechanical failures contributed to the crash. So, if the vehicle did go into a culvert, there's at full speed, there's a chance that it struck the ground at speed, and that could cause a fire in any vehicle. So it's almost to Canada. Texas investigates possibly the nation's first fatal Cybertruck crash. More info. And that's what we know. No comment. All right, we talked about the Giga train already today. Rivian is ready to ramp up the EDV with customers outside of Amazon. We talked about them being allowed to do this. We showed a couple of the like AT&T and other demos of this, but now it looks like based on their Q2 earnings call that Rivian is ready to actually start this push for more electric delivery vans as previously discussed. Ford's Transit and Mercedes-Benz Sprinter both have been electrified, and apart from those two models, there are not too many options in terms of vans for suitable for businesses to buy. There are not too many vans, period, mini or full size, in EV. Rivian wants more EDV and is planning on bringing more companies on board now. That the early stages of testing are over, and the vehicle has proven itself to be a formidable competitor in the space. RJ Scarin says that their CEO, and this focus on pilots is really reflective of the nature of this business, where these are large decisions and around large numbers of vehicles for a lot of these bigger fleets. And it is appropriate that we build effective working models for how the vehicles are serviced, what digital support the vehicles have, and what infrastructure changes are necessary for each respective fleet. Wow, it's been a lot longer than I remember that we talked about it. In December, Rivian said it would partner with AT&T to bring the first EDV to its fleet to a non-Amazon customer. Hardman Williams of AT&T Connected Solutions said, "We are excited to purchase Rivian EVs for our fleet, and this pilot is another important step in our ongoing efforts towards sustainability, reducing our carbon footprint, and embracing a cleaner future for our operations." There we go. Everything we know about the 2025 Ram Charger from Inside EVs. The vehicle may be the most capable plug-in truck ever. Here's why. All right, so first up, towing test made Stellantis engineers go down the gasoline electric route for Ram Charger. We took one of our competitors' trucks and loaded it up to their towing rate. So we're probably talking about the Rivian here, because when you look back how long they had to be to do this, it wouldn't have been the Lightning, because that was too new. So let's see, loaded up to the towing rate, and the Ram Charger propulsion system chief engineer We took it from Stellantis headquarters in Auburn Hills, Michigan, just north of Detroit, to Flint and back, which is about 76 miles, and we didn't make it. We had to stop and charge. We What truck were they using, and what load did they put on it? They couldn't make it 100 miles. My Model X does about 90 to 95 miles on a bad towing day. I'm curious, how heavy was this load and how unaerodynamic was it? It's be under 100 miles by that much, 3/4 of 100 miles. We we said we really need to do something to extend the capability, and yes, this is important right here for folks that want to use an EV that's an EV most of the time, but then also go with the ability to tow in the same vehicle. So this is why I don't poop all over this particular plug-in hybrid. What's up, 01010? Good to see you. The experience gave birth to the 2025 Ram Charger. But what's the Ram Charger and what sets it apart from the other electric trucks? Let's find out. So they're telling us that this is a serial hybrid where the engine can only run the generator, which can only charge the battery pack, and the motor only gets its power from the battery pack and the inverter. So, not to say that the engine couldn't directly power the motor, but it's not doing it like the Prius and the Volt and other plug-in hybrids through a planetary gear set. It's doing it electrically. So, what they tell us, we'll see when somebody actually tears one apart. Uh, if you want to power the motor directly with the engine, you will do it through the inverter, which is what the original Volt concept promised us, and then we got Fat Prius. Uh, so the fuel tank feeds into the engine feeds into the generator, and then battery pack feeds into both motors. What powers the Ram Charger is a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6, a very well understood engine, so you'll be able to get it repaired. Its sole purpose is to spin a 130 kilowatt electric generator. So I feel it's going to be a bit like the Volt in that when you come to a stop, it might ramp down, but it'll still spin at an interesting RPM to build up the buffer in the pack, especially if you're towing, because 130 kilowatts is not a lot to get your load going. It's plenty to keep it going, depending on what you're towing. The gas burning engine is not connected to the wheels in any way. We'll see. A lot of folks like to say that, and then we find out it's got a planetary gear set with a sun gear and planet gear and ring gear that can just do that. Providing electric motors to get their juice from a 92 kilowatt hour battery pack. So it's not quite. At the time we last discussed this, we were thinking it was over 100 kilowatt hours, but it's just under 100 kilowatt hours, which is plenty fine for around town. And then since you've got this gas generator, it'll be fine for towing and for long distance trips as well. Unless you're like a purist like me and you want to only burn electrons, then you'll have to stop that. And in which case, you'll just get the other Ram truck, not this one. Did you make it? You made a car, but did you make it to the potty? Oh, she just brushed her teeth. She didn't come potty. Probably because she was on that toilet without her Minnie Mouse. Oh, she did? Okay. Did you feed her any prunes? Oh, yeah, she was over here dancing. And I was like, are you pooping? She said no. So with drivetrain configuration similar to the discontinued BMW i3, that one was a true serial hybrid. It didn't have a connection between the little motorcycle engine and the rest of the drivetrain, other than electrically. Volume, please. Stickers. Sticker for what? I know you want a sticker. Oh, turn that volume down. I like you a sticker. It's probably a good thing. Can you turn your volume down, please? Yeah, you can have a sticker. Here, have a bigger sticker too. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna work like the i3 if they say what they if they do what they said, and you can't put the Chevy Volt in that at any point. Both Chevy Volts were fat Priuses. They could power track it. Let me see, baby. Which one do you want? Which one do you want? Oh, you already got it. Good job. Don't put it on the screen. No, not on the screen. Where? Don't put it on my chair. You can put it on your kitchen. Yeah, you put it there. Yeah, you can put it there. Where's your book? Your coloring book. Too late. So yeah, not the Volt, but the i3 ES combines two electric motors, one at the front, one at the rear, battery pack, and gas powered generator. Front drive module, as Ram calls it, delivers 250 kilowatts or 355 horsepower, and the rear one adds an extra 238 kilowatts or 319 horsepower to the mix for a combined output of 663 and 615 pounds-feet of torque. Let's see if they added them together, because most systems don't support an addition. They support it's just because of the total output of the system, basically. But there's nothing stopping you from making your inverter powerful enough to drive both your motors all the way through. Mr. Electric Car Lunacy says, "I wonder if that will get Ram buyers to switch." I think it will, because um, if you have a company and you need pickup trucks, and the vehicles come back home at the end of the night, not necessarily at the driver's home, but to your depot, you can plug them all in, so you know that around town they'll be charged. And when towing long distance or any of the stuff that the vans aren't working for because of their all the vans on the market right now except the Mercedes are pretty freaking short range. Um, which isn't a problem for delivery drivers, but it is a problem for like those contractor style operations. And by problem, I mean it just limits your logistics. Basically, it's not that you can't work around it, but yeah. So if you're in control of that sort of thing, then it'll be cheaper for you to fuel them, and fuel is going to be a component. The maintenance won't be as low as a pure EV, but it will be lower if you're keeping it in electric mode more often. So I see companies buying these pretty readily as soon as they become available. Barzan, hello, how are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah. Um, so I was trying to determine if they just added these together. So 238 plus 250. Is 488, and they get a combined. Oh, that's horsepower and pounds feet. So I gotta do it the other way. So that does sound like they just added them together. 335 plus 319 is 654. Yeah, they just added them together. So no, still, because that's 654, and they got 663. There could be some gearing involved there, I guess. Enabling a 0 to 60 miles per hour sprint in 4.4 seconds. You don't need it to be much faster than that. It's a big honking truck, and hopefully it'll be used for work. So that's plenty fine. I'm not looking for a race truck here. And that's. I was just watching the throwback on the EV1, and it was like 7 or 8 seconds, 0 to 60, depending on which edition we were looking at, and that was wicked quick back then. How much range? Figure that it considers fully charged battery and full gas tank. On battery power alone, the Ram Charger, which is not the same as the Ram Rev. So the Ram Rev is what I'd expect the ones that don't need the extra um, range. So Ram Charger can do 141 miles on its battery, and then it can do 27 gallons of gasoline, which they point out is bigger than the gas tank on the Ram 1500 crew cab today. So they give you an extra gallon, I guess, to counter the weight or to counter the losses from going from mechanical to electrical to chemical back to electrical, perhaps. And let's see, the fact that refueling with gasoline is much faster than fast charging a high voltage battery may convince buyers to consider the Ram Charger over a full-on EV truck. If this does well, I hope to see a commercial grade version of this, like the Dodge, sorry, the Ram 3500, 4500, because that same group of tow truck drivers I was talking about the other day, they would love this thing if it could do their work. As a 1500, it cannot do their work. Uh, they like the idea of electric, so this fits in really well with that. How will the engine operate to charge the battery? Somewhat chaotic engine revving characteristics of regular hybrid vehicles is no issue for the Ram Charger. One of the criticisms of hybrids that you'll see is the engine speed flares and things like that. We developed a strategy so that when the driver tips in on the accelerator pedal, the engine operation is intuitive. So it sounds like they're going to do kind of rev floating, rev matching. As you go faster, it'll go faster. Seems unnecessary. I get the confusion and the floating and the whatnot, but that way is the more logical way. This will be more coddling of people who are making their transition from gas. You'll see very typical operation. We have to balance that with efficiency, so you won't be exactly like a diesel or conventional gasoline engine. Okay, so they are going to follow logic, but they are also going to coddle the newbies. I hope there'll be a mode where you can just say, hey, it doesn't matter, just do the best thing. Don't worry about what my pedal is doing. It's interesting to see how Stellantis managed to tone down the droning sound of an engine when it needs to replace the battery. That was something that was kind of weird with the Volt. But at a complete stop, it would just kind of hum there like an airplane. So hopefully at a flat idle, they've done something to make the tone sound nicer, but not necessarily make it inefficient. A combustion engine can start out of the blue and rev up to 3,000 or even higher because it needs to provide electricity to the high voltage battery. This may happen even when waiting for a traffic light to go green, which is anything but common. That was my fault, all right. Is the Ram Charger fast? Can it tow a lot? What's the payload rating? They don't know much, but the plug-in hybrid is no slouch. 0 to 60 in 4.4. It's as quick as a V8 powered Bentley Bentayga. Bentley Bentayga, ultra luxury SUV. Based on the STLA frame, body on frame architecture, designed especially for full-size EVs. Can tow up to 14,000 pounds, not bad. With a class 5 hitch and best-in-class maximum payload capacity of 2625. Not bad. By comparison, the 2024 Silverado EV, which is all electric, can tow 10,000 pounds and haul 1458, while the 200 plus kilowatt hour pack offers up to 450 miles of range. Lightning can go 10,000 pounds of towing with 2235 pounds of payload with its 131 kilowatt hour extended battery, offering 320 miles of range. I noticed they didn't include the Rivian and the Tesla in there. Don't know how much it'll cost, and we don't really know when to be ready to buy, except that the 2025 is the model year. It will hit in the first quarter of 2024. They're kind of late on that, aren't they? Kind of late on that. The all-electric Ram Rev will hit in the fourth quarter of 2024, and the E-Rev to follow likely in 2025. So I think this is a typo right here. First quarter of 25, perhaps? Let's say that. Moving on. Do we want to? Let's look at the comments real quick. Remember, it's still the electric motors driving the wheels. So yes, in all cases, you'll have 663 horsepower, and not necessarily. If you're in engine mode, it might not have the reserve power to handle it. You're miscategorizing this as an old-fashioned hybrid, which it's not. Why would a train set up the same way it's not able to pull a load under no batteries? Who are you talking to? No, I'm not wrong. Make everything half size, Maverick size. They keep all battery range around 75 miles. And I still want to see 150 miles in an EV first serial hybrid sort of situation. Cut the price in half too. Yeah, so that would cut the range down. Isn't Ford working a smaller truck? Yes, but not like this. A 92 kilowatt gross. So not. I don't think gross is in yucky, but gross is in. 92 won't be the usable pack size. It might be like an 85. It's very substantial, even in a heavily loaded pickup truck. Yes, because some buses still only have 125 kilowatt hour pack gross. Obviously, these are like the not the transit buses, the commuter buses and school buses, but not the 35, 40 foot deal. Let's see. Probably phase 400. Continuing on. How Rivian reduced electrical wiring by 1.6 miles and 44 pounds in Pop Science. Basically, it's just an article version of what Rivian's been telling us all along, and telling us about the zonal architecture. And once you see and grok this, you understand um, exactly why Volkswagen wanted a part of this. So put that in the chat as well for you. Beep, boop. Click back here so the window opens in the right place. Then we'll go to this one was exciting. I noticed everything's loading snappier today. EV packs costs were cut by 90% from 2008 to 2023. The latest data reveals massive reduction in costs. Here we see some prismatic cells. And the two main drivers of electrification are battery energy density related to range and battery cost related to affordability. Both have improved tremendously over the past 15 years. According to the Department of Energy's Vehicle Technologies Office, the average cost of a light-duty electric vehicle's lithium-ion battery pack decreased 90% between 2008 and 2023, using 2023 constant dollars to reflect purchasing power adjusted for inflation. And the temperature is holding. It's hot outside, I guess. Uh-oh. The report says that a kilowatt hour of usable EV battery capacity costs just $139 in 2023, or less if you are Ford or Tesla. So no, GM or Tesla. GM or Tesla, as both chastise people who let those numbers leak. We don't know if Tesla was raw or pack. We know that GM was pack, just about $100 years ago. So, using 2023 constant dollars, it was $1,415 a kilowatt hour in 2018. Sounds about right, actually. The estimate was calculated for production at a scale of at least 100,000 battery packs per year, and the progress is very high and has significantly outpaced inflation, the current dollars in the chart. Although it was the most rapid in the first several years. Yeah. It looks like a leveling off, but just check back in another 10 years and it will still look incredible. We've got 2023 constant dollars. We were looking at just over $1,400 a pack, and today just under $200. Neato. It is said that the three main elements allow the battery pack's cost to be brought down: improvements in battery pack technologies, chemistries, and improvements in manufacturing, and simply a higher production volume. Then also you've got the lithium iron phosphate battery tech improvements and cost reductions as well. We can calculate that $139 kilowatt hour of usable battery capacity for a brand new 100 kilowatt hour pack should cost $13,900. That's not bad, especially when you look at what Tesla tried to charge that customer registry bills for a pack for his Model 3, which is not a 100 kilowatt hour pack. I think he said it was like 26 grand. Yes, there's labor, but considering $35,000 to $40,000 price tag for a car is still a substantial part of the price. But let's recall that over 10 years ago, a similar bracket we would get an EV with 24 to 30 kilowatt hours, yeah, like a Nissan Leaf, and a few times shorter driving range, like a Nissan Leaf. The question is whether the battery cost will continue to decrease substantially in the coming years. There are still new technologies on the table, and the scale might be increased. Yeah, guaranteed. Let's see. LFP cells cost in Q2 2024 dropped the lowest ever at $60 a kilowatt hour. Nice. And enables uh, now to build an EV pack for $80 kilowatt hour today. $4,000 at 50 kilowatt hours. Okay. And consider this factory cost and not consumer price, not considering that a ton of gasoline cost is $800 a ton in Rotterdam. And you have break even at $100 a kilogram gasoline kilowatt hour pack. Considering that an aggressive cost estimation in the European 5 kilograms equals 6 liters, so 100 kilometers. Small fuel cell, the efficient break even gasoline versus battery pack is approximately 2,000 kilometers a kilowatt hour. Yeah, that number has been dropping, which is nice. On a 50 kilowatt hour EV, that's about 100,000 kilometers, but without considering electricity cost, on a fuel consumption, 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, you add 20,000 kilowatt hours. So 20 megawatt hours to 100,000 kilometers electricity. What's up? Nobody needs a PhD to understand that EV cars are just impossible to break even. What? No. You're wrong. You're not. You're either breaking even on costs, which means that you're doing it like a fleet. You're breaking even on pollution, which means you're debunking some of this crap this guy says, or you're buying the car for fun and family, and in that case, it's not an investment. It's not even a tool. It's just something that you have in the house to get around. Whereas for businesses, they can look at it as carbon, as cost, as maintenance, that sort of thing. But I'm not tracking your methodology here. You wrote it all down, but to then jump to that conclusion is just no. No way gasoline price in Rotterdam is $800 a ton. Today's price is $32,279.44. Also, my year-round average is 16 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and a large part, about 75%, is charged, and 100% green and free at home on solar cells. The other 25% is bought at 20 cents a kilowatt hour, and also 100% green. You'd be surprised to know that not cost but climate is the first argument pro EV, depending on who you're talking to. Some people, it is cost, and others, it is ongoing operation and that sort of thing. All right, so this person's going on about the materials they think are in the battery pack and where they come from. And let's get out of their little argument. Let's talk about Cybertruck some more. Speaking of the person thinking about slave labor for batteries, we've got Cybertruck's battery passport. The battery capacity, chemistry, and the 4680 cell number, and eventually are an even energy density. So let's scroll on down. And so the battery passport we've only seen from so far from Tesla, Audi, and Jaguar. They all had the concepts they turned in, but I guess it's no longer a concept anymore. They might need them, or Tesla just updated theirs. So let's see. Chemistry of the 4680 cell in the Cybertruck is a 4680 lithium nickel cobalt manganese, so NCM. It's 4680 cylindrical, 46 millimeters diameter, and 80 millimeters high. There are 1344 cells in the pack, giving us 123 kilowatt hours. Cell capacities are 91.5 watt hours per cell. System voltage is 800 volts ish. 800 volt-ish. The battery weight is 1,589.5 pounds, or 721 kilograms. The energy density is 0.17 kilowatt hours per kilogram, or 170 watt hours per kilogram. Estimated driving range is 340 miles on the all-wheel drive version and 320 miles on the Cyber Beast. So here is the passport for this particular car. NCM 4680, manufactured in Austin, Texas. Country of origin for battery materials: Canada, Argentina, Australia. Oh, it does have some DRC in there. Oh, that's probably is the Cobalt. Indonesia and New Caledonia. I thought they'd switched all to Canada. Guess they didn't. Number of cells per battery, 1344. Technical details, 123 kilowatt hours, 800 volts, 721 kilograms at 0.17 kilowatt hours per kilogram. The percentage of mines, refiners, and smelters audited. See that part? The auditing is just going to make a difference in that whole slave labor talking point. The lithium is 33%. Cobalt is 100%, and nickel is 88%. So they've only tracked 33% of their lithium, but at the same time, it's everywhere. It's cheap. It's very important to track your cobalt for the same slave labor argument that the person was making on the other thread. And the nickel is 88% audited. Again, important, but not as abused as cobalt. And not just in Africa, but also China and other places that you can get cobalt. I don't think you've got any slave labor in Canada with your cobalt, but it does make it more expensive. Total number of audits: 1 for lithium, 5 for the cobalt, and 3 for the nickel. The greenhouse gas footprint status of data collection, percent of greenhouse gas data or count, 24 data points, 13 LCAs, and 9 reduction targets. Cyber Beast or all-wheel drive will offer a range extender with an estimated increase in range of about 38%. What, baby? Oh, you killed Gary the Snail? Is it purple? All right. Grandma sent you something. Let's see. Yeah, she did. Yeah, just now. In 2025, Tesla also intends to launch entry-level rear-wheel drive version with a smaller battery pack and a shorter range of 250 miles. And that's the same one that we started the show out with those people breathlessly saying it's gone because they have started selling the Foundation series on the page like we looked at. It's correct. One of the statements in the article later this year might offer a range extender. What? Help what? You're standing in a bucket. What? Oh, you want up? Come on. The rain's coming? Yes. Okay. I thought only rear-wheel drive Model Ys out of Austin used them. No?
No. Duck, 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 duck.
First guns are right there. Early adopters and influencers are taking these trucks out on the roads and testing the range claim. See, but the thing is, Tesla ranges are very much like trying to get the window sticker ranges. Some people can do it. Most cannot. This is at the pack level. Then these claims are non sequitur and fall under the hidey hole of forward-looking statements. So no, it's not that they're lying. It's that you don't drive the way that the test does. Yes, maybe. So Mr. All Electric Car Lunacy says the battery passport is important, and I'm glad they're doing it. So glad that I want it done for gasoline, diesel, and methane. Yes. Don't hit me with plastic, baby. You said you brushed your teeth today? What were you eating? Did mommy brush your teeth too, or just you?
You.
I didn't. I was in here. Okay, so continuing on. Um, don't put that in my face again. The Ford Mustang sets a Guinness World Record of 569 miles on a trip on a single charge. Now, I've been a part of a couple of these Guinness World Records with hybrids, and it is very meticulous and fun, but no normal people drive this way. So after 24 hours, the journey was verified by vehicle tracking and fleet management firm of Webfleet, also a sponsor. This record is a testament to the hard work and dedication of everyone involved, and they sponsor the attempt, saying it is meticulously documented with independently verified, excuse me, video footage, odometer readings, GPS, and battery level data. And the drivers, Kevin Booker and Sam Clark, with co-pilot Richard Parker, set the Guinness World Record for the longest journey by EV on a single charge in a Mustang Mach-E. The Mach-E Premium Extended Range with 18-inch wheels was equipped with a 91 kilowatt-hour pack and boasts a WLTP range of 373 miles. Fitted with Bridgestone tires, the Mach-E outperformed averaging 6.25 miles per kilowatt-hour on public roads and rural roads in the UK. Okay, so that's why they're using WLTP, because it was a European attempt. After the Mach-E's battery reached 0%, Clark and Booker were able to squeeze out another 21 miles. Not bad. Let's see here. No sound. Mommy's cleaning or cooking. Okay, continuing on. Doug says, "Nice work, but the article implies that there are other cars that could likely go further in 24 hours due to bigger batteries and better efficiency. I'm guessing the Lucid could do it 20% further, completely stock, even at stock tire pressure. Possibly. Okay, no, not yeah. Down. Yeah, I'd like to see some folks try and break it. So why start out all the way to the wall when you could just do it and then break it again next year, or the year after? Gotta leave some room in there. Makes it fun. EVs may get cheaper than gas cars as early as next year. So that same guy with the weird calculations in the other chart uh, is proven wrong yet again, not just immediately after he posted it. With plummeting battery costs and advancing technology, EVs will soon reach a breakpoint with ICE cars. The high cost of a new EV, according to KBB, the average transaction price of a combustion car in the US is $48,644, while EVs had an average price of $56,371. It's $8,000 difference. Is enough to get you a used gas car or a Nissan Leaf, a used Nissan Leaf. In other words, there's still a considerable gap, but the difference will soon disappear in favor of EVs, as we've been saying for years now. Just didn't think it'd be next year. That's pretty darn cool. Between 2008 and 2023, the estimated cost of light-duty electric vehicles plummeted by 90%. We talked about that in the other article. And there's the chart again. Excuse me. According to Goldman Sachs, the estimated battery cost last year was a bit higher at 151 kilowatt hours. $151 per kilowatt hour. I don't know. Again, how are they determining that? Because even during the crunch, Tesla and GM were saying that was high compared to what they actually see. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. That's the concept of it I want to talk about. That was all. U.S. set to ban Chinese software in autonomous vehicles over security concerns, and this is kind of like a tit for tat. At first, China was doing this to us, and now we're doing it to them. The reason China stopped doing it to Tesla, at least, was that they decided to localize all the data. So if nothing is leaking from the country, then they were much more comfortable with it. I put it in here kind of for us to kind of talk about, but the other part of it for me was that China, for them to do that, was like assuming that that it's something they would do, so they assume that we would do it. Or perhaps we should reverse that and say that because they think we would do it, maybe we should think that they would do it. But that's for the politicians and actual security experts, of course. But I'm certainly not putting a wire sniffer on my car. Let's talk some more about hydrogen now. The near impossible hurdles that hydrogen has to overcome to become a viable BEV alternative, not including the tanks being replaced every, what, 5, 10 years? Or at least recertified. Automotive industry continues to transition to, this is coming from Top Speed. Talking about fuel cells. Let's see, what are their excuses? Overcoming the infrastructure challenge, yeah, that's a big one. The current state of refueling infrastructure. I'm guessing that not just the locations, but the fact that one car can take the whole station down to recover. 59 hydrogen stations in the country as of 2023. Source distribution. Let's not even talk about the limited infrastructure. What? Don't worry about EVs. Uh, the costs and challenges of building infrastructure are significant. It's way more expensive to build a hydrogen station than it is to lay down in like a supercharger site. It's like a little bit like Audi, but it's not. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Related battling high production costs of fuel cells. Yep. So the not just the station is expensive, but the actual equipment in the car is expensive. Production cost analysis. You've got the economic implications for manufacturers and consumers. Yeah, because if there's not government money coming in to help you build these things, then that alone would stop them from getting built. Um, Efficiency matters. Yeah, hydrogen fuel cells are not efficient. I mean, they're more efficient than gasoline, but they're not efficient compared to EVs. Real world performance on the ones we've seen, they kind of suck. Massing the environmental impact of using hydrogen. If you burn it, it's still going to produce greenhouse gas emissions. And if you use it in a fuel cell, it's going to depend on where it came from. Is it green hydrogen that's in cracking water, or is it gray hydrogen, steam reforming natural gas, methane? Uh, and then the emissions from the production, resource utilization and sustainability. They've got platinum, all sorts of stuff like that. The future of hydrogen technology and EVs. Probably something rosy. Let's see. Uh, the future of hydrogen and EVs hinges on continued advancements and innovations in fuel cell technology. Researchers and automakers alike are working on developing more efficient and cost-effective hydrogen fuel cells with a focus on reducing the reliance on expensive metals like platinum. As alluded to above, another area of innovation is the development of green hydrogen production methods. So they're still working on it. Another 30 years to go, right? Market trends and perception. The perception is good because their greenwashing campaign is very effective. Market for hydrogen is still in its early stages. There's growing interest and investment from major automakers, though with mixed results. Toyota remains the biggest investor in the technology with Toyota Mirai and the most vehicles sold. Despite this, other manufacturers have faced challenges. The Honda Clarity fuel cell was discontinued, and Honda something is on its way back this year. Hyundai sold very few of its Nexo, and we'll have a wait and see on the Honda CR-V fuel cell EV. What? Or is that the one? The fuel cell EV is the one. Okay. So for a second, I thought they were making two. I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Consumer perception of hydrogen vehicles is influenced by factors such as environmental benefits, refueling convenience, and overall performance. So as we get more battery swap and more hyper fast charging, people are going to say, well, what's the difference? I get to pay $36 a kilogram or more for that? Or I can pay the same or less as a fueling a tank and go on my way. and then 0 to like next to nothing at home. So that's another run into hydrogen. Let's see what the comments say. Everyone talks about how much energy is needed to pull hydrogen from water using electrolysis, and for that reason, it is impractical. Anybody ever sat down and tried to calculate the cost of pulling raw crude from the ground, shipping it, refining it, and then shipping it to the local vendors? Hydrogen extraction via electrolysis is looking better when you put it that way. We can estimate based on the cost we pay at the pump. Assume $5 a gallon. That works out to 83 cents a pound for gasoline. Assuming 20% margin for production and anyone in the supply chain, let's assume 3 others. More than that. The estimate to produce is about 20 cents per pound. The article states the cost of producing green hydrogen via electrolysis can range from $3 to $6.55 per kilogram, 130 to $3 a pound. That's a huge cost difference, and there's a long way to go to make green hydrogen competitive. Absolutely. I'm surprised to see such nice comments on there so far. Usually these guys are like a level above Facebook quality comments, like generic, general public Facebook. Hydrogen is not really a fuel, it's an energy storage medium like a battery. Yes. There's no free hydrogen available. Okay. It's all chemically bound to other elements like oxygen. It takes at least as much energy to disassociate hydrogen as it produces when you use it. And there's still some losses in there, so that's being optimistic. And you do and you do have the losses of the engine, but you also have losses in the conversion. The engine is at best 50% efficient. At best, and it's not even close to that. It could be said that all fuels are nothing more than a battery. It took sunlight to grow the plants, heat and pressure to convert them into fossil fuels, after which it takes energy to drill and pump and refine algae and such. But yeah, same. Hydrogen will have a place for energy, but the tech that is taking huge steps forward the last decade is still a ways away and getting better every year as research is better. Yeah, but it's not coming soon like these folks like to try and pull the wool over our eyes. Here's something to look at. Automobile Pinfarnias. Batman-inspired B95 Gotham makes public debut in Monterey. Why did you scroll down like that? There we go. I guess we can look at pictures. But that was all I wanted to do. We'll load the tweet up. Got more pictures of this thing. We got a side view. I'm not really seeing the Batman inspiration in here. Not from the Tumblr. But if you say so. I mean, it's not bad to look at. With no windscreen though, I don't think you'll see it on the road anytime soon. Anyway, ChargePoint has a new Omni port, and they showed us a video of how it works. So basically, ChargePort has Magic Dock. Oh, oh, that's not the one I wanted. Where did it go? So basically, as you swipe your phone on the system, it'll know what to feed you. Either a J1772 to NAX, or J1772 plug, or CCS, or NAX, depending on what type of system we're on. It was like a 30-second video, and it was right there before the podcast. But basically, it works very much like the Magic Dock, and that's all there is to it. Although, if you don't have a profile set up in the ChargePoint app or account, then you'll have to pick uh, CCS or J1772 or NAX, depending where you are. The Jeep all-electric Wagoneer is put to the test ahead of deliveries. So, despite all those people whining about the Tesla Juniper spy shot, I've got these spy shots here of the Jeep Wagoneer, uncamouflaged at that. It's not for me, but that looked comfortable and nice. It's testing. I don't know what she's making, but I smell onions. see. Temperature is just holding, despite the fact that it's just running. But at least it's not feeling all hot and muggy in here. Mike says, "I'm not sure why this is compared to the Y. It's not even the same class. Looks like the base gas model starts at 62 and goes over 110. Jeeps aren't cheap anymore. Not that I'd want a Chrysler product." I think it's probably being compared against the Y because that is the best-selling vehicle in the world, and this is probably that size, even though it's not that price. Going on. Uh, uh, Never mind the title. Windrose is to build its electric semi-truck in the U.S. They're a Chinese firm. They build a very familiar-looking semi-truck. By very familiar, I mean like you got camera mirrors, you got dual screens, you got a center seating position. Very familiar. But it features a 729 kilowatt hour battery pack, so just 200 kilowatt hours short of a Tesla Semi. It can get you 400 kilometers or 248 miles of range, so it's not anywhere near as fuel efficient. And just over 30 minutes of using Borg Warner's newest 960 kilowatts fast chargers. Okay, so that's about the same on the fast charger. Uh, it's possible due to a pair of liquid cooled charging terminals that can support dual gun, single vehicle high. I think that was a bad translation. Dual connector, single vehicle high speed. So you plug it in twice. You can support a maximum output of 600 amps. So you're just dual CCSing it. Why not use MCS? Aside from that's not done. Windrow says U.S. companies can account for the majority of its approximately 6,500 standing orders. These orders would be ideally filled by the company's planned U.S. assembly plant in Georgia, which will piece together chassis and other vehicle parts manufactured in China. The company also plans to expand its manufacturing operations in the EU as well, with another factory planned in an as yet unnamed EU nation to sidestep their tariffs on trucks. So this is exactly what we said as Europe and US were putting in these Chinese anti bills, is that they'll just come to the US or Mexico or Canada or wherever they need to get around these tariffs. So unless the tariff was just designed to make jobs, you're not gonna be very effective with it. Boom, right there in the US, in Europe. Uh, Very familiar, isn't it? Even the rear hinge doors. But these are more of a plug door style uh, than than the style that the Tesla Semi uses. I don't know if there's actually a proper name for it that doesn't get you flagged on YouTube. It doesn't seem to matter if we're talking about the low end or high end of the EV market. The Chinese are there with solid products that seem poised to seriously challenge Western automakers in their home markets. Whether or not this person calls it a ridiculous center seating position works better in China than it's bound to the U.S., however, remains to be seen. People say the same thing about the Tesla Semi, except the actual drivers. So try it and see. If it doesn't work, they can always put a different seat in there. Can't sit over to the left because Edison Motors just did the same thing. They had a central seating position, and some of the potential customers were whining and complaining too much, so they made a second version with the seat over off to the left. 52 comments. Let's see. Tesla really dropped the ball on the Tesla semi trucks. I suppose the Twitter distraction. The Tonka truck was a bigger priority to the Tesla CEO. This new destructive behavior to get T elected. You'd wonder if he'll get the semi to market in any reasonable numbers. They're building the plant now, and there's a supply crunch. Batteries were expensive. It takes more than 9 Model Y batteries to make one Tesla semi, so it made sense why they did what they did. Tesla Semi launched full of lies, aspirational claims, as explained the very last week, that the announced price for the 500-mile required very cheap, lightweight, high cycle life batteries. The batteries didn't exist then and still don't 7 years later. They can build a 300-miler with LFP, not the announced 150K, but a price that provides good ROI for fleets. Competition in that segment is tough. We'll see what happens. It was a long time ago. It's going to probably look very much like we saw with what happened to the Cybertruck for pricing and and range and capabilities as far as delta from what they promised to what we got. You really think Elan lost interest in a massive investment to develop electric power semis? Has anyone put an electric semi on the road? Yes, they have actually. And aren't Tesla semis yet another gold standard product by Tesla? Yes, they are. By the time production semi starts, VW Group will have sold 10,000 EV trucks of various sizes, including semis. I don't know about VW, but the competitors have been making electric semis already, but they're using for drayage and short haul. Website says the range is 670 kilometers or 416 miles. So what's probably happened there is they've downcycled it from the stupid Chinese test cycle to something approximating the EPA cycle. 729 kilowatt hour battery that can add. Oh, that was the other part. They're talking about the charging, not the size of the battery. That's the charging speed, not charge capable. I don't know if this is the Chinese measurement, but it's crazy forgiving. It claims the Model Y can do a range of 688 kilometers. As we saw with that Mustang Mach-E, you can certainly do that, but nobody drives that way. Just reduce 30% out to get NETIC or WLTP, which is still super, super easy, but at least it's in the realm of reason and something you can compare against. It would be funny if Windrose could produce the semi quicker than Tesla. Yes, it would be funny. On the other hand, it seems to be a direct copy of the semi design. That's probably another repetition of the Chinese tradition of copying. They claim that Tesla is a copy of the Nikola 1. I wouldn't say that at all. Very close, but enough to avoid the lawsuit. All right, let's go on from here. I just wanted to say the truck is there. It'll be built here. Good evening, Anders. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so let's scroll down. Kia's affordable EV3 has been officially spotted in the US ahead of its upcoming debut. They've got some spy shots for us. You know what? I come from a world of spy shots. Next time somebody has some spy shots of a Tesla, unless I have an NDA or somebody has asked me from the company not to share them, I'm going to share them. I'm not going to get browbeat by those loud people on social media. Korea, sorry. After opening orders in Korea at just $37,700 or 42.08 million Korean. Was that Korean won? Yep, South Korean won. That's got to do numbers on your head. You're buying cars for millions of won. The EV3 is already a social media sensation. There's pictures. There we go. There it is. Spy shot in California. I think it'll sell well. Just like its staplemates. Next, we've got another China. China what? What is China doing for large economy? Change 2024 alone is remarkable. Most new car sales are EV or PHEV. So not just the new energy vehicles, but plug-in hybrids or EVs. They went up from 30 cents to 30% at the beginning of 2024 and are now 94 companies are offering 300 EV models. Overall, Chinese CO2 fell 1% in Q2. Congratulations. Is the price of gas something like 10 times higher in China than the US? Maybe. So good on them. Their EV and plug-in hybrid percentage is way up. Sawyer says the range comparison of the EPA combined Model 3 versus the all-wheel drive M3. Got 281 miles for the M3, 303 miles for the performance all-wheel drive, new one. Starting price is $54,990 at the Model 3, starting at $47,490 with the federal credit, while the BMW M3 starts at $84,300. And because it's just a luxury sedan, it gets no incentives. That was kind of neat. Next, I've got 4 tweets from Sawyer that aren't labeled because they came from my phone. Breaking! For the first time ever, Tesla's introduced a 3-year bundle for the Model S and X in the US and Canada for $5,000. So you get, for 3 years, you get unlimited connectivity, you get free supercharging, and FSD. That's a decent deal. I've seen some folks break it down, and if you don't have home charging, then the charging is a good deal. If you already wanted FSD, then this is still a good deal. And if you just wanted internet connectivity and you didn't want FSD or charging, don't get this deal. But if you only wanted that, but you would use them anyway, then it's still a good deal. But if you were looking at FSD or looking at supercharging, then the folks who've done the math say it's a good deal. And if you wanted both of them, then it's better. Then the only problem though is if the price goes up again, and you're on a rental, you'll keep that that agreement, but then the full purchase price will be it'll track like we've seen in the past. Is there a limit to the amount of supercharging? No, you just can't use it for commercial. I don't see it on the Canadian side yet. Anyone seen commercial pricing? No supercharger limit. There's the bundle subscription agreement. Tesla's offering a 3-year bundle subscription for FSD, premium connectivity, and supercharging. More information about FSD, supercharging. When you subscribe to this bundle, you or any drivers of your vehicle are agreeing to everything said here on the support pages. Payments. You're responsible for periodic subscription payments on time and in full. Your subscription payments don't include any third-party charges and might change in the future, but we'll give you 1 month's notice before doing so. That gives me reason for pause right there. Cancellation. You can cancel this subscription at any time through your Tesla account. If you do cancel, your subscription payment won't be prorated. Oh, that is kind of, well, if you get to the renewal and you still have the car, then you're stuck for another year, or another term. If you do replace the car at the 6 or 7 year mark. That's interesting right there. We might suspend or cancel your subscription if you're using any of the features for anything unauthorized or inappropriate, or if you stop paying. So I'm guessing these are available in monthly installments, not just in the one time. Here it is. But if you're doing these, we might drop you. Commercial drivers are not eligible for the bundle subscription. If we in good faith believe that you are a commercial driver, you agree that we may remove the free supercharging from your bundle, and you will not be prorated for this. Your vehicle will convert to pay-per-use supercharging access. So, yeah, Turos and Ubers and Lyfts, be mindful. Let's see. Features use. Full self-driving, supervised, and premium connectivity features are subject to change and might not be available for all Tesla vehicles, depending on hardware and regional location. You agree to supercharge your vehicle pursuant to Tesla's vehicle charging policy. You understand that you are responsible for any idle or congestion fees. Yeah, same here. Yeah, mine's got this put for life, and they've hit me up for $7 over the life of the vehicle over the last 6 years. They just reach in and grab it. Yeah, so supercharger time. You gotta make sure, even if you're talking to somebody, keep an eye on what's happening with the car. Otherwise, you'll be paying for it. Active supervision responsibility, cellular network hardware. The cellular or other network needed for standard or premium connectivity is provided by external providers like your local telecom company. We're not responsible for any issues with your service, including cancellation, that we can't control. So as we already saw, you could upgrade from the 3G to the LTE. I'm curious what that does if they shut down LTE in favor of the pure 5G stuff in the near future. Telecom companies do that. It's a good deal. Anyone who buys an SRX should add this. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, just SRX so far. I wouldn't say anyone. You need to make sure that you use more than $1,139 worth of supercharging in those 3 years. Or that you wanted FSD. Excuse me. That is a lot of supercharging. I think I have done that in my supercharging. Let me pull up my Teslafy or my Tesla scope. Teslafy came up. Just typed in Tesla. And although you'd think that would bring up Tesla.com, it doesn't. All right, charges, charge summary, supercharger invoice list would bring up my $7. AC charging, supercharging totals. I've got my 3 years worth. 645 charges at 176 locations for 24.840 megawatt hours. For total charging time spent 15 days, 14 hours, and 59 minutes. Average session time of 34 minutes for a fuel savings cost of $3,600 and $36.25 and 36 cents. So that's me. I got my money's worth for the 3 years. I got enough for 9 years, apparently, according to his math. Oh, all right. It's free, but you pay 5,000. No, it's not free. It's unlimited. There is a difference because I paid what 2,000 for my free supercharging for life. I should clear a few out. Do I want to do this? Let's do this. Oh, that didn't cover as high as I thought it would. Let's go here. Let's copy that to clipboard. And let's reply to this one with that picture of my graph. All right. And let's continue on with the next unlabeled tweet. This one is, as discussed, Tesla has started in. Well, no, we didn't discuss this because it was so short. Tesla started inviting people from Canada and Mexico to configure their Foundation Series Cybertrucks. And then, immediately after that, oh, what happened there? It's a calculator. Where'd my web browser go? Did I close it? I sure did. And so now we need to um, come back here and adjust the box we're sharing from. Now we don't want to change the camera. We want to change the window capture to B. So we still have that window open, but that's not the case, I don't think. Yeah, it's not open. So let's do this. Let's go. Properties. Need the browser. Not that one. Or that one. That one. That one. Possibly the one labeled new tab. Nope, not that one. Where even is that window? Oh, I see it. That's not the one we're talking about here. There it is. The size looks right. I don't know why it's sized wrong. Well, we'll resize it again. Not too far off, though. Okay, so breaking! As of tonight, a reservation is no longer needed to order Cybertruck Foundation Series in the US. The Foundation Series is now available to order directly from the online configurator, as we saw at the beginning of the show. This is US only as far as I'm aware, and somebody, I believe Zach from Jerry Rig Everything, suggested getting your $100 back. But if you were in line and you wanted a Cybertruck, but you didn't want to pay the plus up for the Foundation Series, perhaps don't get out of line just yet, because historically the reservation numbers, at least in the beginning, did matter. So if you want a cheaper one, don't go asking for the money back. Otherwise, you probably end up in the back of the line again. At least wait and see how they behave with it. Okay, next up is we're in this window. And where is my notes? They moved. No, they got covered. Then we've got this one. I see what happened. I double middle clicked. General Motors has begun deliveries of the GMC Sierra EV, their newest all-electric pickup. Range of 440 miles. Current starting price of $99,000 for the Sierra Denali Edition 1. 350 kilowatts charging for 100 miles of range in 10 minutes. 0 to 60 miles, well, not towing, of course. 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds. Four-wheel steering with crab walk. 10,000-pound towing capacity. 754 horsepower. 19.2 kilowatt onboard AC charger. I do like that because that's what I've got hooked up in the house. Instead of the stupid 40 amps that Tesla's limited us, 48 amps that Tesla's limited us to on Cybertruck for some reason. Put a real charger back on there. Ugh. 16.8 inch diagonal touchscreen. Super Cruise with driver assistance. 24-inch wheels with 35-inch tires. The midgate, multi-pro midgate. Power Station Pro for 10.2 kilowatts of offboard charging or offboard power to other devices, vehicle to X. Air ride, adaptive suspension, panoramic fixed glass roof with a big frunk. And here's some photos of it. There you go. If you want to tow long distances but don't want to wait on the extended pack, or Elon's pissed you off, it's a solid choice. It's expensive. I would get the work truck version of the Chevy. Whenever it opens up to non-fleet customers anyway. All right. So, Inside EV says about the same vehicle. No, about its stablemate. With the new pricing structure, the EV Silverado gets closer to the popular F-150 Lightning, but the Lightning might still have the upper hand. Let's take a look. So the Chevy Silverado EV may finally start under $60,000 with a catch. They have a new trim that's not the work truck model, which is pretty cool. We wouldn't call it affordable, starting at $74,800 for the 3WT Fleet version with 18-inch wheels, all-wheel drive, and EPA of 383. However, that may change once the 2025 model goes on sale later this year. According to a leak by GM Authority, or to GM Authority, the upcoming all-electric pickup will start below $60K. That price could also come with a dent in the EV's impressive driving range, so smaller battery. That makes some sense. 2025 EV work truck, guys. That's the fleet-oriented version. Will come with several new trim levels, including the new 2WT, which will be priced from $58,995, including destination charge of $1995. Makes it $1905 more expensive than the fleet-oriented 2024 F-150 Lightning Pro. Range-wise, the Ford's pickup will likely have the upper hand with its 240-mile range EPA, courtesy of its 98 kilowatt-hour battery pack. Meanwhile, Chevy's new entry-level Silverado 2WT is slated to come with a smaller battery pack that is only 14 modules, compared to the 20 and 24 module packs that the more expensive trim levels have to drive over 300 miles on a full charge. This smaller pack makes it much less appealing. What was awesome about these Chevys was their 200 plus kilowatt-hour packs for the range. Now, most people don't need that, but that's what was pulling you away from the newer manufacturers like Rivian and Tesla to them, unless you were already a Ford or Chevy guy. Don't know what the EPA range is for the 2025. I'd be surprised if it slipped under 200. Ooh, you don't want to go under 200 if you can help it. For the marketing. About to have a thunderstorm here. Let me check on the battery level real quick, because I like to have some battery left over for when we lose power. It says the battery app is running, but I don't see it. Show all windows. No available windows. Well, close it. Okay, it's gone. Open it again. Oh, the battery is full. Oh, I know what it's doing. It's using the wrong freaking battery. No? The battery is full, and it stopped using the battery. Why did you stop using the battery? And why are you using the wrong battery? Charge that one. Stop charging that one. Switch to battery. Why did you stop switching the battery? I did it this morning. So it's not as intuitive and simple as a Powerwall, that's for sure. All right, stop charging that other battery. I've got two, and the one with the solar panels on it is the one that I needed to use, but it wants to use the one that charges solely from the grid. I could put more on it, but that would be investing more in this place, and I'm not sure I want to do that. Now it says that we're not running on battery. There you go. There you go. Back to this. Now, I don't want to slam full battery. It's LFP, but still. Sorry for that distraction. You obviously failed math class if you think dropping 24 modules to 14 modules will decrease range from over 400 to under 200. Why? Well, we'll get lighter though. Click back at the math is 3WT is more efficient than 4WT because of weight differences. 18.75 miles a module versus the 3WT would be 20 modules would give you 19.65 miles a module. Yeah, it's getting lighter. Not only that, but I personally would not buy the Silverado for road trips, but for short hauling. Although, admittedly, so yeah, if you don't need it all, then that's a good reason right there to get it. I get it. People like to hate GM, but please put some factual numbers together. Multi-module in North America is 8S3P, 24 cell, and in CMA, which has a user capacity of 8.5 kilowatt hours. Everything else can be calculated off of this. Means the 14 module base battery pack of the Silverado EV will have a usable capacity of 119 kilowatt hours. So that's not bad, actually. It's still fine. How on earth is Inside EV thinking this will be a sub 200 mile vehicle? I'm thinking they probably didn't take the weight off. That's half a Civic right there. And GM first launched the Hummer EV SUT. They showed 3 battery options, the same B1T architecture as the Silverado EV. They showed off the base version, the EV2, would have 250 miles of range using the same battery pack, and GM has since exceeded those range estimates on all trims, and Silverado EV is more aerodynamic and lighter. So it certainly wouldn't surprise me if the Silverado EV with the base 14 module pack still pushes close to 300 miles of EPA range, with my guess of about 280 miles. And I'd expect the nominal pack voltage to be closer to 410, so charging speeds on this pack should be a bit above 200 kilowatts on a 500 amp DC fast charge. And that's assuming that they don't reconfigure it to stay at the ability to charge at 1,000 volts. So now they're being accused of being Tesla friendly. You can't win. You either hate Tesla or you love Tesla, according to the comments. There's no middle ground. It's coming! The 30,000 Kia EV3 has been spotted on US soil. I think we already talked about this. We did, from another publication. Continuing on. Model 3 owner states that... What did Trev say? There it is. Another picture of it. Trev says Cybertruck Foundation series is available in Canada. If we mentioned that, but he tells us something new. At an eye-watering 137,990 Canadian dollars. Cyber Beast is just a cool 165,990 Canadian dollars. There's more. This is like hard pass for me, but I expected the price to be in this territory given Tesla's pricing here as US divided by exchange rates. Don't forget to add the luxury tax plus 13 to 15% HST on top. Luxury tax is gone. Don't know how, and I don't know if I got a link to that part or not, but the luxury tax came off. I think a lot of people will pass on the Foundation series and wait for the big price drop. Even the dual motor will still be $100,000 a truck in Canada. Foundation series isn't worth the extras in Trev's opinion. I'm still wondering some of the stuff that says included, how much they're going to charge for that. I didn't realize y'all had taxes like that. Interesting. We have high taxes, but also pretty good standard of living. However, the cost of housing and food have really eroded away that feeling. Yeah. You thought it was bad here in the States. Canada's done that too. Yep. Not to mention vehicles, regardless of the power source. Waiting on dual motor drop under 100 and a future FSD transfer. Otherwise, that's a no from me. Eventually. Luxury tax should be exempt due to weight. That's kind of cool. Oh, because it's a farm vehicle. All right, so next, S.E. Robinson, 400th supercharger in Hong Kong. It's not quite as colorful as the ones we saw in Norway and Finland, but still better looking than the one we got here. It's pretty. Next up, this one. So the last couple ones were all found on my phone, so I don't know what's in them. Tesla will soon be allowed to deliver vehicles directly in Kentucky. They have a few job postings. So they have sales and customer support in Louisville, vehicle service. Oh, so not just sales, but sales and service. Way to go, Kentucky. Finally coming out of that stupid protectionist nonsense. Don't cancel dealerships, but don't force people to use them either. If your business doesn't need them, don't be stupid. 5 people just got excited. Tesla whiskey coming soon. Oh, that would actually be really cool. As if Kentucky hasn't already fixed this problem. Do they not want to be competitive as a state? See, this is where my proposal comes into play. If it's illegal to sell or service the vehicle there, you can't collect any state revenue from it. You get the registration and plates and stuff that everybody else pays, but no sales tax and no back sales tax when you come back to the state, and none of these BS property taxes that so many of the states like to do per year, like South Carolina and Virginia. You don't get to get that because it's illegal to sell it there. So you can't collect taxes on something that you can't sell. Simple. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, there'll be Tesla stores right there because they want that money. But because they get the money for free now, they get to make it illegal to sell the car there, and they still get to collect the revenue from the citizens when they return home with the vehicle they actually wanted. I don't know how you class that politically, but that's something that I'm going for. This one was awesome. Rivian confirms that the R2 charge port has moved to the driver's side for Tesla supercharger use. So RJ no longer feels that we need to play telephone man to walk around our car, or cable guy, to walk around our car to hit the back passenger side from the driver's side to charge and unplug and charge and unplug every day that we go home. Although, it should have been the front passenger side, because if his argument was that we will see a lot of street charging coming up, then it will still work nose in at superchargers, and you can still use the street side parking excuse. As it is, we see that the driver's side rear works, except for towing. And Tesla's already said that they are working on the towing story, so good on you. Next, do the new R1s. Next time you order some parts, just move that back there too. Continuing on. Actually, we'll go back to the other one. I'm curious. Okay, so yes, Drive Tesla Canada reports update. Cybertruck is now luxury tax free. Tesla has updated the online configurator, and the luxury tax line has been removed. That's all that was required, as registrations are clear. No special exemption necessary. I don't know what that means. I'm not Canadian, but it's kind of cool to see the no luxury tax. But I don't know what he means by. Oh, the regulations are clear. I wish I read that right for the first time before just now. I've been reading it as registrations this whole time. Wes says, very happy to have Cybertruck available in Canada. Oh, it's now available in Canada. So it's not just getting ready. That means they got that final approval after the steer-by-wire and whatever else was there. The whatever else has been handled. Congratulations, Canada. Thanks for getting it approved. Can't wait to see more on the road in Canada. Cybertruck says, damn. So that's what it's like becoming mainstream. No luxury tax is a good thing, Cybertruck. Okay, so let's close this and let's go into the article on Rivian, see if they had a quote from RJ on this. Starting at 45 for the R2. Brand promises will still have the Rivian Essence built in, but smaller, more affordable. R2 has quite the fan base. The charge port moves for Tesla supercharger use. We're now learning Rivian will move the charge port on the R2 to the driver's side, making it easier to use as supercharged. I like that little hint of color on the wheel pad there. This has just come in. U.S. military rejects calls to reduce sonic booms from SpaceX rockets blasting along the California coast. Come on, NIMBYs, you can't ruin everything. Yeah, SpaceX does do more launches than everyone else, but they sound really cool. It's like pop, 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 pop when it comes back, and that's it. You're looking at what, up to 7 a week from your particular coast up there in California, and it's not like every airplane coming through is going supersonic. Just get over it. Is that callous of me? Yeah, it is. Well, the NIMBYs have ruined a lot of stuff out there. Announcement came at the Pasadena, blah, blah. The R1, R3X will be first up over the R3. I'm looking for the announcement about the. While some Rivian owners are already receiving the NACS adapters, you can see why the charge port needs to move to the driver's side. Top comment by Grant says the R2 is going to be an enormous hit for Rivian. And unlike Tesla, Rivian is not polarizing. Go figure. People are passionate about their vehicles, and Rivian is just easier to be associated with now. Yeah, because you don't know what RJ's politics are. Makes it a lot easier for them to do business. On a few occasions, I've already seen Rivian owners taking up 2 charging spots. It's usually not an issue as other chargers are open, but I could see it becoming one as the network opens up for other brands. For example, I've already seen a few Ford Lightning owners trying to cram into charging and can't help but take up 2 spots. Yeah, because their charge port is really far back compared to the length of the V3 cables. All right, last one on the news. We've got these customizable camper van conversions for the VW ID Buzz are everything. I guess they kind of sort of make up for the. Now, no, at over 25 years since they showed us this concept vehicle, it's finally hitting the market, and it's nothing like what they showed us other than if you squint, it's got the two-tonedness, and it looks kind of like the VW Bug bus, but it's not the same. And even the camping is like, okay, so the pop top feature will help, but the non-pop top, that's like, I mean, you can kind of duck in and then go sit down, and you can wash your hands and cook. Okay, but I don't. It's not that appealing to me. Pop top makes more sense. And then you got a bed. That helps. And you got the rear kitchen, like a teardrop trailer, I guess. The Buzz box will cost you $79.95 plus shipping and applicable taxes and installation. And I guess you had to get somebody else to do your pop top. And the Buzz box sleeper. I do like that these don't require permanent modifications to the vehicle, so you can kind of put this in and go on a trip if you want. The sleeper offers all the features of the Buzz box, plus includes a nearly queen-size bed. Simply fold down the second row of seats and extend the sleeping platform and mattress into the van. Pierce Van says the high-quality mattress is comfortable, and if your ID Buzz has a glass roof, the bonus is you can stargaze from bed. I don't know if that swivel seating will work out of the box. I don't recall what the center console situation is on the Buzz. I'll have to look. The BuzzBox Sleeper will set you back $10,995 plus shipping and applicable taxes and installation. I don't know about the swivel seats. Swivel seats were in the concepts, like most of the concepts, but they did not make it to the production vehicle, so I don't know if you can add it. I mean, clearly this render has it, but is that going to be added cost or what? Joel Sepp says plus the through gate too. Oh yeah, so you get the mid gate on the Silverados and Brethren. Um, let's see. Check out, make sure I didn't miss anybody on multi-stream. Nope. Okay. And so that is the stories I found throughout the week. We were going to go out and shoot a video for the HV Nomads, but if you were paying attention to the weather, in the West Coast it was quite toasty, and in the East Coast it was quite soppy. So we didn't get out to do that, and now it's raining again. So real soon, expect an intro to the HV Nomads in video form, and I've also got the video sitting still in the camera about the rear motor servicing. And I don't think I need to wait for my new one to finish that. I'll tell you what happened, and then I'll add what I found out with mine, and then I'll publish that. I want to thank all of you guys for your time today, spending time with us here today. I want to thank our channel members and patrons for your help, and buy a sticker. Go on over to hvnomads.com, buy a sticker, and we'll put it on our ride. And then that will help us get that project done way faster, because right now it's going to take quite a few weeks, because I can basically like try and get one component a month to get it done. I can try. It's probably going to end up being like one component every other month. But thank you very much. We'll see you later.